Presented by your local Super Chevy dealers and Home Bank. Good for business, good for life. This is LSU football.
Kane stays in at running back, moves to the right hip of Daniels. Kane will get the carry, comes to the left side, cuts back into the end zone. Touchdown, Fighting Tigers. Shotgun snap, Daniels looks left, back to his right, across the middle, and catch made, Brian Thomas, right underneath the crossbar. Touchdown, Fighting Tigers.
LSU football on Eagle 98.1, the flagship home of the Tigers. Tonight, from Kyle Field in College Station, Texas, it's the LSU Tigers and the Texas A&M Aggies. Now, here's Charles Hanagriff and Matt Musso.
This is corner of Burbank and Lee. Welcome to Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Charles Hanagriff along with Matt Musso and our entire staff as we walk you up to kickoff of tonight's game between the LSU Tigers and Texas A&M Aggies. The LSU Tigers come in with a record of 9-2 overall, 6-1 in the Southeastern Conference, and ranked 5th in the nation by the Bowl Playoff Committee, the College Football Playoff Committee. The Tigers last week defeated UAB 41-10 to complete the non-conference portion of their schedule. To say that this has been a fabulous season and one that was in a lot of ways unexpected would be an understatement. From the opening game of the Superdome that ended in a 1-point disappointment all the way through the win against Alabama deep into November and a shot in the SEC championship game. LSU will be in Atlanta, Georgia, a week from today to take on the Georgia Bulldogs for the Southeastern Conference Championship, regardless of what happens here today, which makes Brian Kelly's first-year accomplishment in Baton Rouge nothing short of extraordinary. Whether it's been Jaden Daniels blossoming as a passer, the emergence of the superstar in Harold Perkins, and just overall improvement across the board, LSU has had a fantastic season. Today, they'll have to look to not look ahead to the SEC championship game and take on a Texas A&M team that is playing, well, for pride. The Aggies come in with a record of 4-7, 1-6 in the Southeastern Conference, and last week they beat UMass 20-3 to snap a 6-game losing streak. To say that A&M's season has been a disappointment would be a colossal understatement. Ranked 6th in the nation in the preseason, Jimbo Fisher's team dropped a non-conference game to Appalachian State in the second week of the year. That was enough to sound the alarm bells. When they eked out a 23-21 victory against Arkansas to pile on with a win against Miami, it looked like going into October, everything was pretty much fine, and the Aggies could take the App State game as a one-off. Unfortunately for them, it was anything but. The Aggies did not win again until last week, losing to Mississippi State, Auburn, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Alabama, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Florida, and Auburn. At this point, the Aggies have only two things that could happen today. They could come out and play with a great deal of emotion, as it is the last game and technically their bowl game. Or, ready for this season to come to a quick end, they could be watching the clock from the moment they kick the ball off. For Jimbo Fisher, at this point, embattled seems to go at the front of his name in every article and every television spot and every radio show that he has mentioned. Safe to say, if not for a ballooned contract at $86 million, Fisher probably would have already been fired. Whether that happens at the end of this game sometime over the weekend is yet to be seen. But one thing's for sure, there's going to be a lot of turnover on that Texas A&M staff and on that roster as they try to figure out what went wrong. Matt, the seasons could hardly have started any different, taken any different turns. And if you had said at the beginning of the year, listen, A&M's going to go 9-2. They're going to go 6-1 in the league. They're going to pull an upset over Alabama, and they're going to go to their first SEC championship game. That would have been a reasonable prediction. And if you'd have said, listen, Brian Kelly inherited a program that did not have a whole lot going for it, had very few scholarship players, down to about half the roster in scholarship players. It's his first year. He's getting acclimated. He's never coached in this part of the country. They're going to struggle this year. They're going to go 4-7 and 1-6 in the league. You'd have said, that's a little worse than I thought, but okay. Instead, It's the exact opposite of that.
That's what's so odd about this, right? And you're not the first person to say that this week, but you would expect expectations to be flipped. But, hey, that's why they play the games, right? I think something that's also been talked about a lot this week, and I'm sure we'll talk about with the multitude of guests who will join us over the next 3 hours, is motivation. That seems to be one of the major storylines in this. A&M, as you said, can come out and play with a lot of emotion. A lot of people are expecting a packed house in Kyle Field. Great weather this time, big-name opponent, top 5 team. You would think ruin their season, get hyped up for it, much like last year in Tiger Stadium. But it feels like that's kind of what has to happen. LSU feels vastly superior to A&M in a lot of different areas on the football field, and emotions, turnovers, motivation, things like that is kind of their hope. But I don't know that we've seen anything this year to expect LSU to come out not motivated to play the game, even with a look-ahead spot, and a hell of a look-ahead spot with the number 1 team in the country and the championship of the SEC on the line next week. Brian Kelly, though, so far has passed every test with having his guys ready to go in that type of spot.
That number 1 team looks anything but unbeatable
Yes.
today. A 3-point lead at half against Georgia Tech, last week as well. So a lot on the line here. This is hardly a thing where LSU could look ahead while the SEC West is wrapped up, and they'll have their chance to play for the SEC championship. An SEC championship with only 2 losses on the schedule is LSU's argument to get in the playoff. An SEC championship with 3 losses will have them in a different bowl. We'll take a break here. We are at Rouse's. Download the mobile app for curbside delivery. That's particularly important today because the weather, well, not so good here in Baton Rouge. Gordy Rush when we return. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
I am Juliet, daughter of Marguerite, granddaughter of Gabriel Piera. I come from a line of strong women who knew struggle and success too. Still, I was scared by my breast cancer diagnosis, but I had Blue Cross coverage, which meant I got care from top doctors. I'm strong like my mother and her mother before her. The right card, the right care.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big V and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day, Skull Session. Offense, presented by Gulf Coast Bank. Gulf Coast Bank, the bank that cares about you. Now, here's Charles Hanagriff. And from the LSU Sports Radio Network, Gordy Rush.
We return here at Rouse's, corner of Burbank and Lee. Remember that you can download the mobile app for all of your curbside delivery. Get all your, well, I guess we're done with tailgating, but your holiday needs all here at Rouse's. We bring in Gordy Rush, who you guys are going to have to you're going to have to excuse him a little distracted here in pregame, because in about an hour and 20 minutes, Purdue is playing for not only the Old Oaken Bucket, but a shot at the Big Ten championship game and the opportunity to be routed by Ohio State or Michigan. So, Gordy, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm excited. I'm still in Baton Rouge. Guarantee one is going to leave about 3 o'clock so I can get over to College Station, but I at least have to see the traditional run out of the big Purdue drum down there in Bloomington, Indiana, perhaps one of the greatest rivalries in college football today.
You know, somebody asked me this morning, I was doing a show down in New Orleans, they asked me, said, who's LSU's rival? And I said, they really don't have one, because a game has got to mean the same to both teams, regardless of the records. LSU doesn't have one of those. Purdue and Indiana, that's a rivalry. Doesn't matter what the records are. It doesn't matter what's on the line. But today there's really something on the line. The Boilers' first ever trip to the Big Ten championship game.
Yeah, thanks to Mickey Joseph in Nebraska. They went in Iowa City and defeated the Hawkeyes, opened up the gate, the opportunity for Purdue to win and go play in Indianapolis. And won't that be something, Charlie? Standing room only at Lucas Oil Field Stadium. Purdue makes it to play Ohio State.
Well, we'll see. Purdue a 10-point favorite on the road at Memorial Stadium. Hey, okay. Bucket week. I would have brought my Indiana hat today, but my dog ate it, so I guess I'll just move on from that. Gordy,
thank you for not doing that.
Yeah. All right, Gordy. Let's start with LSU's offense. The number that jumps off the page at everybody is the rush defense number for Texas A&M. They have not stopped the run at all. They are last against the rush in the Southeastern Conference, and it's by a lot. I mean, it's some 20-plus yards in front or behind 13th place. So LSU got enough healthy running backs to take advantage of this?
Yeah, we'll see game time, but I'm expecting Josh Williams to play. Of course, Noah Cain's coming off of a good football game, and then John Emery, obviously serviceable. He's got to hold on to the football. But, look, for me, it's about LSU getting Jaden Daniels in rhythm. And Coach Kelly talked to me Monday, or after the press conference, you'll hear the interview at pregame show. He talked about, for them, I think they found out for Jaden to get on track, he needs to throw the football early. He had that shot in the first series against UAB, I believe, Malik Neighbors down the sideline, and then they just started the roll from there. And if you get Daniels comfortable, to me, the offense starts clicking. And with all the problems that A&M has had, especially personnel-wise, rotating people in, you wonder how disciplined they can be tonight and how disciplined in their run fits. And if you're not disciplined in your run fits against LSU, with Daniels' ability to run the football, it's going to be a long night.
Where Texas A&M is concerned, I just told you that they've got the worst rush defense in the conference. They've got the best pass defense, at least statistically. Is it because this is an elite pass defense, or is it because teams have run the ball on them so frequently and so well, there hasn't been as much of a need to throw the football, especially since A&M's been behind most of the year?
Yeah, I mean, I think exactly, you brought it up. Look, teams can run the football, and A&M has been behind, so other teams are just like, we wanted to run clock. There's been no sense to throw the football. It's a combination of both. And A&M has good players on that side of the football. They're young. They'd have to play some people a little early, some of the injury issues and some of the departures that they have had. I think both of those add up. But I think the stats are a little deceiving.
I got to ask you just really bluntly, what's happened to Texas A&M? Jimbo Fisher has been the butt of all these jokes, but he is not that bad a coach. We know Jimbo from his time here. He is not this bad of a coach. The talent level may not be what they thought it was, but it is not this bad. Gordy, they are a muffed punt against Miami and a regular goalpost away from being 1-10. And I mean, you can say, well, you go the other way. They could have made the conversion against Alabama from the 2, not the conversion, but the touchdown against them, and they could have won that game, I guess. But man, there's supposed to be a floor for programs like A&M. That floor is supposed to be 5-6 wins minimum if everything goes wrong. And here they sit 1-6 in the SEC. What happened?
Charlie, I'm not in that locker room, and you can only speculate. Is the message stale a little bit? I don't know. But offensively, 2 things. This offensive line has been a mess. I had a chance to talk with Andrew Monaco, their play-by-play guy, earlier in the week. They're down to their 5th-string offensive guard. They played back-to-back freshmen. Have had to get in there and play guard. They've struggled on the offensive line. And if you recall, when Jimbo Fisher took over for Kevin Sumlin, he was able to do was take a finesse throwing football team with Cliff Kingsbury as the OC to a physical SEC-looking offensive line, and they were putting guys into the NFL draft and so forth. But to me, it starts there, and they've been unable to run the football. They've been inexperienced in the pass game, and it's just snowballed from there.
For Jaden Daniels, not just the fact that he threw the ball earlier in the game last week with some success and got into a rhythm, but the RPO game was back there, Gordy, and it really wasn't as much against Arkansas. So looking to get Daniels on the perimeter, the RPO game going again?
Yeah, I absolutely. I think getting him comfortable, you start throwing the football to those wide receivers. And, even A&M, I don't think can afford to play a whole lot of man. You got to mix it up, and people are going to back up a little bit. And if you can throw the football early, it sets up the running game, and everything starts rolling. So I think that's the key.
I'm going to ask you one more time about Keshawn Boutte. It looked like he was starting to, carve out a bigger role in the offense a couple of games back. Now he's been quiet for a couple of games. I just keep waiting. I know that there's a monster game in there somewhere for him. Any chances tonight?
Yeah, it could be tonight. Could be tonight. As you mentioned, A&M has struggled stopping the LSU run game. Are they going to take chances, commit some people into the box? Are they going to have a spy to handle Daniels? The last couple of SEC games that LSU played, Alabama, Arkansas, Ole Miss, people are starting to put a spy on Daniels. That means that takes one man out of coverage, and that opens up opportunities for receivers. And Boutte very possibly, after sitting out last week with being a little bit under the weather, should have fresh legs tonight. Let's see if he's able to make an impression.
We'll take a break here at Rouse's. Again, download the mobile app for curbside delivery. We'll talk about the LSU defense when we return here. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Enter now for a chance to win a catch and cook fishing experience from the Louisiana Charter Boat Association with me, Chef Jay Ducote, winner of Beat Bobby Flay. Register now at gocatch.com. That's GEAUX catch.com.
When I was a boy, I spent my days climbing trees, catching fish. Barefoot in the river I walked, listening to crickets, counting stars. This was home. After my stroke, I wondered if I'd make it back to the people and places I love. But I got the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Your card matters. Your home does too.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Skull Session. Defense. Presented by Edward Jones, making sense of investments. Now here's Charles Hanagriff. And from the LSU Sports Radio Network, Gordy Rush.
We return here at Rouse's. They're just starting the second half at the Shoe. Ohio State 20, Michigan 17. Wolverines with the ball to start the second half. Gordy, if somebody had the time to go back and archive every topic we've talked about in pre- and post-game over the years, Jimbo Fisher's offense would make the top 5, okay, whether it was the time he was here or whether he was somewhere else. I watch Jimbo on the sideline right now, and I used to love the way he called plays. We used to talk about, how balanced he was on first down and things like that. Now I look at him, he's got enough paperwork in his hands. He looks like he's going to buy somebody's house. Tell me, in your opinion, if you think Jimbo's antiquated offense, I'm using other people's terms here, is the problem for A&M.
I think it may be, and the reason I say that, it seems like everybody's evolved. There's a lot of similarities to what Alabama, I think, did probably 10 years ago. Big physical offensive line, dominant running game. They ran the football, played incredible defense. And I think things changed. The game changed. The rules changed. Everybody's spreading the football field. We're in an age of dual-threat quarterbacks. Just think about who LSU's had to defend this year, from Richardson at Florida to Young at Alabama, Ashford, just a pure athlete in Auburn. I know he was raw starting the season for the state. Had an athletic quarterback, and rarely are you seeing guys that are pocket quarterbacks. And not. Look, I mean, their quarterbacks can move. Max is probably of the three that's played this year, the least mobile, but nobody the athletic ability of Jane Daniels that's running 4.40 and doing those things. And if you're not good up front and you're not dominant at the line of scrimmage running the football, then it doesn't set up the play action pass. And then who are you? And I think that's the problem this year, that their bread and butter, which is being physical and running the football with A-Chain, who's a fantastic running back. I mean, he's got world-class sprinting speed. He just hadn't been able to get it done up front.
A-Chain, number 6, is, in my opinion, their best player. Now, Gordy, he's been out the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, we saw him in a walking boot for the game. Last week, for the UMass game, he was dressed, and he was going through warm-ups with a little bit of a limp. They held him out. They said he had the flu, which doesn't make any sense at all since he was out there. So I'm still banking that it was something to do with the foot or the ankle. You expect to see him today?
Yeah, I think he goes today. There's no question. Is he 100% becomes a big question. I saw the video of him in pregame warm-up, which, by the way, was just – I have no idea why you would put cleats on that kid. There's no way you were going to play him against UMass. The goal had to be to play him tonight against LSU. Why even tape him up and test that thing? But they did. I don't think he's 100% tonight. He is a difference maker.
Yeah, playing and being able to really go. We saw Michigan's Blake Corum go out there today, and he went through warm-ups. He went out there for the first series. He had 2 carries, and then that was it. It wouldn't hold up. Right. So we'll see if A-Chain can go today. What are your thoughts on the freshman Weigman? Because he came with a lot of fanfare. And in the loss to Ole Miss, a lot of people thought, well, they lost the game, but they found a quarterback. The excitement has died down a little bit since then. What do you think of his game?
Look, I think he's got a lot of potential out there. Again, they're struggling on the offensive line, so they're not able to run the football. He's running for his life a little bit back there, and he's a freshman trying to learn in this conference under really, really tough circumstances. So I think the future is bright. Hopefully the light bulb doesn't really go on tonight, but he's got potential.
I had gotten away from talking to you about a whole lot of special teams breakdowns, but last week there it was again, 66 yards to set up the opening touchdown for UAB. What happened?
Like I hear, I think one of the comments I heard in the press conference, they got a bunch of wide receivers playing, wide receivers down on kickoff team, and look, so I think personnel and some of the LSU's still short a little bit for it. And then obviously with the conditions, they can kick the ball out of the end zone. So, Charlie on kickoff team, kick the ball out of the end zone or kick a sky kick.
Yeah.
But the last thing you want to do is kick it to the guy at the 2. And I mean, right now, I think I'm sitting down. I know what my roster looks like, and I'm trying to make sure I got enough bodies and I'm filling gaps on kickoff. If you can't get it out the end zone, it's supposed to be 56 degrees tonight, not supposed to be bad weather. Then kick a sky kick. Most teams are going to fair catch it, or give your return team, rather your coverage unit, a chance to get underneath it.
All right, best guess. This is totally a guess, but you've been, in situations before at the end of the season where you were playing for something really significant, and on at least one team that was not going to go to a bowl game. So, drawing your experience, what's A&M's motivation level tonight? Do they come out with their hair on fire and play like this is the last time they're going to play this year, or do they come out and say, "I can't wait to get this over with. Let's go home"?
Yeah, I think they come out and play tonight. And this is a rival game. It's going to be a packed house at Kyle Field tonight. Student section, we'll see what the students do. I don't know if they all stuck around Thanksgiving break to see this game with a 4-7 football team. But I think they're going to play, Charlie. And so to answer your question is, what sort of start does LSU get off to? The longer they let A&M play, then I think the more this momentum thing comes, or the more they're going to be able to feed off the emotion. At the end of the day, A&M has struggled on offense. LSU has really, really been good on defense. And I just don't see how they score enough points to win the football game tonight.
All right, last thing. I hope you don't think you slipped that by me with that guarantee one thing. So if you're flying private and Flynn bought a plane, obviously, since the last time I talked to him, how come I'm flying through Charlotte next week?
Well, who booked your plane?
Cade.
I mean, you went through Musso.
Cade.
I mean,
he didn't go through me.
Through Musso Air.
No,
who
sir.
Who booked you through Charlotte?
Cade. He's my travel agent. He's fired. He's fired as my travel agent.
I mean, that's your fault, man. I'm sorry. You went through Cade Express.
Yeah,
Are you really going through Charlotte?
On the way home, yeah.
you guys covering the ACC game too?
Yeah, probably so. We'll see the Panthers game. I guess so on Sunday. No, the LSU fans scooped up the direct flight. We got a direct flight there, but coming back, we're through Charlotte. I was fine with it. Moscona threw a fit. Okay, so just
you should.
You just deal with that. Deal with that on Monday. But yeah, we're
oh Lord,
we're going the long way around on the way back. That's okay. I'm happy to be going. I never figured that we'd have to make travel plans when the season started. So I'm happy to take my my layover in Charlotte.
I'll stay out of the travel department, man. That's Cade. Cade does an incredible job. Travel trips. If you want to bring the family to Disney, call Cade Watson.
Right. Go ahead, have a safe trip. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay, good.
All right, we'll take a break here as we're watching Michigan, a long touchdown pass, and they have reclaimed the lead in what is is it too early to say this is developing into a classic Michigan-Ohio State game? I mean, we've seen, what is this? Is this 4 lead changes, I think?
And that's 3 touchdown passes of 45 or more yards for Michigan in this game.
Wow. So it's certainly entertaining at the shoe here as Michigan is going back out in front, 24-20, just 4 minutes into the second half. We'll take a break. Jimmy Ott will be with us when we return. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
I am Juliet, daughter of Marguerite, granddaughter of Gabriel Piera. I come from a line of strong women who knew struggle and success too. Still, I was scared by my breast cancer diagnosis, but I had Blue Cross coverage, which meant I got care from top doctors. I'm strong like my mother, and her mother before her. The right card, the right care.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Otter Locks. Presented by Lofton Staffing Services. Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs. Now, here's Jimmy Ott.
And we bring in Jimmy Ott to talk about the games going on and the games coming up. Jimmy, good afternoon.
What's up, Charlie?
Lots, man. We're getting treated to the type of game that you always hope you get when you got two highly ranked teams. And at the shoe, man, I mean, this has been really good. 3 lead changes so far. A lot of big plays, even some good defensive plays in on this thing. And Michigan comes out with Blake Corum, and he can't go. He tries for a couple of carries and he can't go. But the Wolverines got the lead, man.
Yeah, and it's. You know what, Charlie, that last year's game and how it played out is certainly having an effect on today's game, and that is Michigan just shoved it down their throat. Remember last year also, Michigan is threatening and trying to about to take a multi-score lead, and they throw an interception. So when they got the ball back last year, they were not taking any chances. They ran between the tackles, and they didn't run the clock out. They ran it all the way down. They ran the clock out and scored a touchdown to put it away. So this year, Ohio State is definitely focused on stopping the interior running game. But they are light in the numbers in the secondary, and we've seen 3 big, long touchdown plays, them like 50, 40, and like 70, whatever they are, you have the numbers in front of you. But they're just light in the secondary. And you know what? The quarterback for Michigan is not missing them. They're not beautiful throws, but they are just, he's hanging them up. He's not overthrowing them, and he has not missed on them every time. So 2 to Cornelius and the last one to the tight end. But, yeah, and man, how about some of the throws that C.J. Stroud is making? My goodness, these are some tight windows that that the Ohio State quarterback is making. It's a fabulous game. And that was a big one last time because they haven't gotten much in the interior running game. But 3rd and 5, they ran it right up the gut, got 4.5, immediately, no hesitation, got it, ran it real quick again. They converted, and then they eventually cashed it in with a touchdown to the tight end. So no doubt that I'm sorry, No doubt that they, it's a fabulous game, man, and it looks like it's coming down to the wire.
McCarthy's 10 of 17, 254 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. That was a big question: was if the Michigan rush game was shut down and they're only averaging 2.3 yards a carry, would McCarthy be able to pick up the slack? So far, he has. How about the game in Athens, Jimmy? And I know LSU fans are keeping an eye on this one. Georgia's starting to pull away a little bit. It's 23-7, but this is hardly been a one-sided game. Georgia Tech has played for the interim coach since Jeff Collins was fired, but they were a 33-point underdog coming into today. This is not flukish. They're not in Georgia's stratosphere, but they have put up a complimentary fight today, and I know what the theme's going to be this week. No matter how this game ends, it's going to be, well, Georgia didn't blow Kentucky away. They didn't blow Georgia Tech away. LSU's got every shot in the world next week in Atlanta.
Well, I mean, it's kind of coming back to reality a little bit. Georgia Tech did have the lead, and then they had a tight end one play. They had a couple of bad drops where that really it killed some drives, and then they're punting the ball. Fourth down, Bennett almost skips the ball off the grass, but the tight end from the Bay Area just makes a great catch and keeps it, from barely skimming the ground to save a touchdown there. Then they punt the ball the next time, and what happens? The punter fumbles the ball, gives Georgia the ball at the 13-yard line. They punch it in. It's now 23-7. So that window of opportunity, and yes, Georgia Tech, it was one of these rivalry games where Georgia might have been taking them. Yeah, I'm sure Georgia wasn't real threatened by Georgia Tech, but Georgia Tech came to play a little bit. But now that they've made those mistakes, those key drops, the drop on the punt, and now Georgia's pulling away. But Charlie, this game's going to end 23, 30-point win for Georgia. It'll be okay. I mean, Georgia's going to be much the best one. And if LSU was able to beat them, I don't think their early struggles against Georgia Tech are going to affect the quality of that win or the quality of that opportunity for LSU next weekend.
Otter in Clemson, South Carolina, we're not getting 6 touchdowns Spencer Rattler, which was pretty much expected. We're kind of getting interception Spencer Rattler in this one. But the Gamecocks are hanging around a little bit with Clemson laying that big number late in the third quarter now.
Yeah, I would. I took a little shot on South Carolina. He throws the pick six early to put them behind 7-0, and then later down at the 1-yard line on 2nd and goal for the 1, he throws a pick before halftime. But he also had a scramble, and here's another long play for Rattler. He is for having some real negative plays. He's bounced back, and here's another 72-yard touchdown pass by Rattler. So he's been a little all over the place, but I do have to respect him. And the key play Musso was 3rd and goal. About the 4 or 5 yard line. I mean, they come clean with pressure, and he's about to get dropped at the 10. He eludes that guy, but then he's running, and he puts his shoulder down at about the 2 yard line and drives the guy in for a rushing touchdown. Shows me that little heart, man. Then show me a little entitlement there. And so he just connects again. I'm impressed. Look, there's adversity, and it certainly happened to him, but that's how you overcome it. And he's still competing today. South Carolina's a live dog in this game, straight up.
Iron Bowl coming up in about an hour amid reports that Hugh Freeze is going to be the next Auburn coach. Jimmy, I know that you and I were talking this morning on a text thread. Lane Kiffin has got his contract worked out at Ole Miss. That's put to bed. And the voices that matter at Auburn came in and said Hugh Freeze was their guy. The things that prevented Freeze from taking a job as an assistant or as an analyst immediately following his departure from Ole Miss have now timed out. All of those things that had to do with the recruiting violations, all of those have timed out. They're over with. Good fit for Auburn and Hugh Freeze?
Oh, absolutely. Time heals everything. And, over time, it's, whether it's the SEC's office and, we discussed that a lot on how many hoops they had to jump through. And, Auburn's a major player in the SEC. And I just didn't see where the league office would interfere if they wanted to hire Hugh Freeze. The guys won in the SEC. And I tell you what, though, what is happening with Liberty? I think they know with them. They have laid down today. 24.5-point favorite, losing 42-7.
Yeah.
They're not real happy.
Touch distracted, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, there's distractions, isn't there? Yeah. I mean, there's 24-point dogs that lose, but 24-point dogs that 24-point dogs that win by 5 touchdowns. That is crazy. So, I think it's a good hire. I think it's a very good hire. He's got the guy that you have to coexist with, the main booster in his corner, and we'll see. But it's not just what he did at Ole Miss, but also in Liberty. 3 straight double-digit win, following up Malik Willis, losing him, your quarterback to the NFL, and having another good season, minus today and last week. No, I think Hugh Freeze. I think Hugh Freeze gives them more of a chance of winning than say Brian Harsin from Boise State.
All right, what about today's game? Cadillac Williams has had the Tigers playing hard. We've seen bigger discrepancies in this game before. Can Auburn make a game of it?
Yeah, they can. And maybe that Alabama is just not playing for as much. It's still the Honor Bowl. So, I mean, there's a ton of motivation there, but you got to respect Cadillac. They're 2-1, but they're 3-0 against the spread. And they really haven't been that close against the spread. Got to love it. It's one of their, they love it. I was on an Auburn show earlier today, and they're hoping to get Cadillac Williams retained. I'm like, listen, you can't play any conditions for the new hire. That's what's, prevented you from, it's made you dysfunctional in the past. But I don't love the game, but damn it is rivalry weekend. I'm going to take 22 points in the way these guys are playing hard for Cadillac Williams. I mean, we loved him as a player. Man, that guy ran hard. He stayed up for his senior year, and I know it was pre-NIL, but I'm sure he was properly compensated to stay for that last year. So I think this series has been dominated by the home team, whether it's been Auburn upsets or near misses at Jordan-Hare, Tuscaloosa. They've pretty much blown them out every time. But something tells me that Cadillac and the Auburn Tigers may be able to be a little bit more competitive today.
Outer Civil War at 2:30. When I woke up this morning, I was looking at Oregon 2.5. I'm looking now at Oregon State -1. The line movement here, is that Bo Nix? Well, what's up with the line movement there in that one?
I wonder. Yeah, I got to wonder because it was 3.5 earlier in the week. It was 3 when I went to bed. Earlier today. It was just, this morning it was 3. So now you're telling me it is all the way Oregon State. That's got to be telling me that Bo Nix is not going to play. If you watched the game last week against Utah, you saw that Bo Nix was really favoring, that injury, and she was less than 100%. So, no, I haven't heard just yet, but the line movement tells me that, that Bo Nix is probably not playing. I could be wrong, and it could just be a respected money, but I doubt it. This late in the week with that even money, I would think that he would be out. If he is out, I like Oregon State that much more.
All right, Jimmy, tonight another game LSU fans will be watching out of the corner of their eye is at the Coliseum, Notre Dame and USC. I know you said yesterday on the show Notre Dame was one of your picks. You think that the Irish have got a great shot to win this game outright as a 4.5-point underdog right now. Tell me why you think that.
Well, USC has played Cupcake City -3 games. They lost to Utah, although it was on a 2-point conversion. It was a tough loss. They played pretty good in Salt Lake City. They won in the last minute of the game in Corvallis against Oregon State. And then they were the beneficiary of 4 Darian Thompson-Robinson turnovers as he had a relapse last week as far as his ball security. Basically just catching breaks in the few games where opponents can be somewhat competitive. So are they going to get those breaks tonight? I don't think so. Now, I've always thought you can stop a running game with numbers, and I expect USC to crowd the box. But USC has pushed around some decent teams. North Carolina, Syracuse, and then, of course, Clemson. I think this guy's riding the ship. He knows he doesn't have a passing game, and they've just leaned on that physical running attack, and it's rolling right now. And against USC, they better put a ton in the box. And if they do, there'll be some easy throwing opportunities. USC, the betting public has loved them. They've had some inflated numbers throughout the course of the season. I think even so tonight. Are they going to catch another break? I just don't think these type of breaks are sustainable. I'll take any type of points in tonight's game to get you 5.
All right, final game, LSU a 10-point favorite against Texas A&M. We know what's on the line here for LSU, and we know this is the end of the line for A&M. Your thoughts on the game?
I like LSU. They'll be prepared to play. I liked them last week. I thought the toughest spot was in Fayetteville, and we kind of saw that it was. Jaden Daniels got back. LSU showed some maturity last week, and Brian Kelly's certainly mature and experienced coach. So I think LSU will take care of business, but that line is a lot. That's a lot of points for basically a quasi bowl game for Texas A&M. They tried to manufacture that rivalry with the gaudiest trophy in all of football and that big shiny golden boot, but this one actually has some legs. And they have some history, and they used to have a series and played each other. They have a lot of commonality as far as they recruit the same players a lot. Jimbo has spent time here. Scott Woolward has spent time there. Jimbo used the opening at LSU to get an extension where it's got now A&M sitting on a ticket for $86 million. Perkins, he was an A&M commitment. That was a good one to flip. There's a lot of commonality and some real substance for a rivalry. And A&M is, if they stay around, it does scare me a little bit. I don't think LSU will be looking ahead, but this is their bowl game. Road games are hard in the SEC. The number scares me. I think LSU will win, but I think it might be a little bit tougher than some people think.
Did you see the trophy with Arkansas and Missouri yesterday? If you're going to talk about the boot, you got to talk about the border.
The battle line. That thing's horrible.
The battle line. Okay, so
wait. Describe this thing to me. I missed this one.
Okay, well, you've seen the trophy. It's the state of Arkansas and the state of Louisiana. They call it the boot.
Yes.
Well, it's the state of Missouri and the state of Arkansas in a trophy, and they call it the
battle line.
The battle line.
Except this one looks plastic. It looks like it's plastic.
It's worse. It's worse.
For those of us privileged to have Les Miles at that press conference when the student reporter asked him, Coach, could you talk about the significance of the boot and playing for the boot? I only want to hear one man's commentary on this. Where is Les Miles when you need him? I want his commentary on this boot, because nobody gives you more entertaining response to these trophies.
Well,
my goodness.
Google it when you get off the air. Trust me, it's not the prettiest.
I got enough action, Charlie. I'll get to that later.
Tell me who's bringing us out of Lux.
Lofton Staffing Services. They match hard workers with the most sought-after employers. To Lofton, you're more than just another employee. They care about your interests and will match you with a company that needs your skills. You can complete an application, schedule an interview, and even browse jobs at lofton.jobs. Lofton Staffing Services, we've been putting people to work since 1979. Lofton Staffing Services, 924-0200 and lofton.jobs. Let's go blue. Get this Michigan home.
All right. Football Sunday tomorrow for you, Enro, starting at 10 a.m. Jimmy, thanks.
All right. Thank you, guys.
We'll take a break, come back, get you up to date with everything that's going on in college football. We are live at Rouse's, corner of Burbank and Lee. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards. which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning,
98.1. The Ralph's Market College Football Scoreboard. Ralph's Market, where quality and customer service are a family tradition.
All right, we started the shoe where it's getting late in the third quarter, 2:37 to go, and the Wolverines lead the Buckeyes 24-20. J.J. McCarthy has thrown 3 touchdown passes for the Michigan Wolverines in the absence of Blake Corum. The Heisman Trophy candidate had 2 carries and then was shelled for the rest of the day. Number 1, Georgia struggled early, but pulling away now from Georgia Tech, 30-7 early in the fourth quarter. Stetson Bennett has thrown a pair of touchdown passes for the Bulldogs, and they are about a minute and change into the fourth quarter there in Athens. Good game at Clemson, South Carolina, as the number 8 Tigers lead South Carolina 30-28. This game has seen some turns. South Carolina's Spencer Rattler had 6 touchdown passes a week ago against Tennessee, has thrown 2 long touchdown passes for the Gamecocks, but he's also thrown a 99-yard pick six and an interception in the end zone. Going to the fourth quarter, this one's a coin flip. Clemson leads it by 2. Early in the fourth quarter, West Virginia leads Oklahoma State 21-19. This game has just gone final. Army beat UMass 44-7. Early in the fourth quarter, if you had any doubts about the Hugh Freeze to Auburn rumors, take a look at the Liberty score. They may be just a touch distracted today as a 24-point favorite. 24-point favorite? 24-point favorite. They are down 42-7 to New Mexico State early in the fourth quarter. Maryland leading Rutgers 37-0. That's about midway through the fourth quarter. James Madison, big number over Coastal Carolina. James Madison leads it 47-7. That is early in the fourth quarter. Coastal Carolina came into that game 9-1, but not today. South Alabama and Old Dominion are tied at 20 early in the fourth. Also in the fourth quarter, Marshall leads Georgia State 21-17. Florida Atlantic leads Western Kentucky 24-17. At halftime, East Carolina leads Temple 28-24. End of 3, Kent State and Buffalo are tied at 10. Second quarter scores: Akron leads Northern Illinois 17-6, and North Texas leads Rice 7-0. They're about 5 minutes away from kickoff. Louisville and Kentucky. 2:30 kickoff, the Iron Bowl, Auburn and number 7 Alabama. Cadillac Williams coaching for Auburn today. They look to make the move to Hugh Freeze. Would expect that announcement maybe tomorrow. Number 9 Oregon and number 21 Oregon State. Again, the line movement suggests that there may be something up with Bo Nix. Illinois is at Northwestern. Minnesota's at Wisconsin. Old Oaken Bucket Plus. Purdue is at Indiana. It's on the Big Ten Network. If Purdue wins, they clinch the AFC West. The Big Ten West. Yeah. Boilermakers at 7-4. If they win that one, they will take on the winner of Michigan and Ohio State for the Big Ten title. Wake Forest and Duke at 2:30. Also Hawaii at San Jose State. The Memphis at SMU, Troy is at Arkansas State, UAB at La Tech, UTEP at UTSA. 3 o'clock kickoff for Iowa State and number 4 TCU. Couldn't get any bigger for the Horned Frogs here. They win. They are undefeated going into the Big 12 championship game and still in line for the playoff. Lose, they still win the Big 12 title, but their chances for the playoff decreased by a factor of 10. Michigan State is at number 11 Penn State. Number 14 Utah is at Colorado. Southern Miss at UL Monroe. 4 o'clock kickoff for UL Lafayette at Texas State. 5 o'clock kickoff for Nevada at UNLV. Also App State at Georgia Southern. Middle Tennessee at Florida International. 6 o'clock kickoff for number 22 UCF and South Florida. 6:30 kickoff for number 15 Notre Dame and number 6 USC. Trojans and LSU are very, very close in the college football playoff rankings. This one will mean something for LSU if the Tigers win. Number 10, Tennessee is at Vandy Hendon Hooker. The Heisman Trophy hopeful is done for the season. Tennessee, a 2-touchdown favorite on the road against Vanderbilt, who after losing 26 straight in the league has now won 2 in a row.
Let them get hot.
Oklahoma's at Texas Tech, Syracuse at Boston College, Tulsa at Houston. Kansas at number 12, Kansas State. That is a 7 o'clock kickoff from Manhattan. Kansas State looking to clinch a spot in the Big 12 championship game. And, boy, after the first game, do they want another piece of TCU?
Man. Yeah,
more than
I'd
somewhat.
say so.
Number 7 o'clock kickoff for Pitt and Miami. Miami needs a win to be bowl eligible. Air Force is at San Diego State at 8 o'clock. 9:30 kickoff for the Apple Cup. Number 13 Washington at Washington State. Huskies need a lot of help, but they could still get into the Pac-12 championship game if everything falls right today. 10 o'clock kickoff for BYU and Stanford. And, that is most of what's going on in the college football world. Wanted to get one more score for you, and there it is. Bayou Classic at the end of 1. Grambling leads Southern 7-0. This is the 49th Bayou Classic, Musso, and the series is tied 24-24.
How about that?
Yeah, so today, sort of a tiebreaker, if you will,
Trip
in
to
the
the
long
SWAC
series.
championship on the line for Southern
as well. Yeah, so plenty on the line down at the Superdome. We'll take a break. When we come back, Jim Nagy from the Senior Bowl with our scouting report. That is next here from Rouse's Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
They said I was small, weak, said my heart wasn't strong enough. But I showed them what heart looked like, again and again and again. Mom got me the right care, the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Don't let people tell you who you are. Show them the right card, the right care.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks.
98.1.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA 21-2681, offices in Baton Rouge. WDGL and HD1 Baton Rouge. Eagle 98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day Scouting Report. Presented by Demco. Demco. Powering lives. Brightening the future.
And welcome back in Eagle 98.1 Game Day. We are live from Rouse's on Burbank and Lee, counting you down LSU and Texas A&M, the season finale, College Station, Kyle Field. The Tigers with a chance to get to 10 wins. Let's welcome in Jim Nagy, the executive director of the Reese's Senior Bowl, for our scouting report. Jim, we appreciate the time as always. How are you?
I'm great, Matt. I can't believe we're coming up to the end of the season. It's unbelievable. It's gone by fast.
It always does, doesn't it? I mean, you blink and it's gone. It feels like yesterday we were talking to you ahead of Florida State. And, you know, that's kind of what I wanted to do a little bit today. It's been a rough year for Texas A&M. They've had a lot of injuries, and potentially some of their draftable guys suffered those injuries and aren't playing tonight against LSU. So in keeping it focused on the Tigers and looking back at week one, we all remember how that game went. And it was a lot of doom and gloom after the extra point was blocked in the Superdome. And now LSU can go to Kyle Field tonight, win, get 10 wins, year one, Brian Kelly. And we already know they're off to the SEC championship game next week in Atlanta. Just kind of a capsule for you on LSU's season and how they have just exceeded expectations year one under Brian Kelly.
Yeah, they've definitely exceeded expectations, probably more for the LSU fan base than myself. And I only say that because I go back with Brian Kelly a long way. I've when I was in the NFL, I was scouting Brian's teams at Central Michigan. Actually, before that, Grand Valley State, and then Central Michigan and Cincinnati and Notre Dame. So, I've been following Brian for a long time, and I've seen what he's done with programs. He's built every place he's been. And this one probably happened a little quicker than people expected. But again, I keep going back. It's LSU. Like there was a lot of talent in that locker room, and Brian's never inherited a situation like that. I promise you. I mean, he never had the locker room that he had in Baton Rouge. So yeah, it's probably been a quicker rebuild than would have thought. But he brought exactly what that team needed. He brought it some organization and some discipline, and he's gotten really good play out of Jaden Daniels, and we can talk about that as well. I mean, that's going back to that Florida State game. Jaden's improvement over the course of the year and how the defense has come together. It's been fun to watch.
You mentioned there you've spent a lot of time scouting Brian Kelly teams, whether it's Central Michigan or Notre Dame. Which hallmarks of those teams that you've scouted do you see that LSU has on the field, where you're watching an LSU game and you just go, yep, right there, that's what Brian Kelly football looks like?
Well, I think once he starts recruiting, I'll say this, and this is making no comment on what's on the roster right now.
Yeah.
I'll say this: he will build a high character locker room. Again, all those years of scouting his teams, and now in this role at the Senior Bowl, I see it even more up close because we've had a lot of his Notre Dame guys in the Senior Bowl since I took over here 5 years ago, and they're always just really buttoned up, professional, mature guys that are ready to play in the NFL. So that's kind of the hallmark. He goes after the right kids. He built a program with the right kids. But in terms of on the field, I would say, they just play smart football, and they've done that this year. They've played more disciplined. This LSU team's probably the most disciplined team I've seen in a while. They've always had playmakers, but, this team's gotten themselves out of jams, and they've played smart.
Talking with Jim Nagy, the executive director of the Reese's Senior Bowl, LSU A&M tonight from Kyle Field. The season finale as LSU looks to polish off a 10-win regular season and head off to Atlanta. Jim, kind of on the flip side, A&M, it's funny, you look at these two teams and maybe the expectation of where they are at this point in the season is reversed. And we know Jimbo's a great coach. They have struggled, but kind of in that same vein of what I asked you about Brian Kelly, you've seen a lot of Jimbo Fisher coach teams. What do they still do what does this A&M team still do that is kind of a hallmark of a Jimbo Fisher coach team?
Well, I think you go right to the quarterback position, and that's where these two teams have been on such divergent paths this year. A&M came into the year rated 6th in the country, and where I talked about Jaden Daniels, that first game in the Dome, I was at that game, and it was unbelievable how uncomfortable Jaden looked. And now, fast forward probably 8 or 9 weeks, and I was at the Ole Miss game, and he looked so much more comfortable. He looked like a different quarterback. Well, the thing at A&M, Jimbo's always had good quarterbacks, whether it's E.J. Manuel or Christian Ponder or Jameis Winston. Whenever he's won and won big, he's had good quarterback play, and they just haven't had any stability there under center. They've played 3 or 4 different guys and haven't gotten good play out of that position. And you said, Anaya Smith was their one senior that we were going to invite to the Senior Bowl. Their slot receiver, returner. He's kind of built like a running back. He was their one guy, and they lost him. So they just, they don't have a lot of upperclassmen leadership. They don't have a lot of upperclassmen, period. That is a freshman and sophomore heavy football team. So I would say the biggest difference between the two teams and where, they've fallen short compared to teams that Jimbo has won with has been under center at the quarterback position.
Jim, this kind of just dawned on me that I have not asked you about this player. And I know we talk a lot about seniors here, obviously, and he's a freshman, but Harold Perkins, I'd love just the thought on what you've seen from number 40 from LSU so far this year.
I was actually traveling with someone from Walk-Ons who I know is a big presence there in Baton Rouge, and they're one of our sponsors. We were going around the country giving away Senior Bowl invites to small school players a few weeks ago, and that was when he went off in one of the games where he had the 3 sacks or 4 sacks or whatever. And I'll say this again: you don't focus a lot on the young guys when you're trying to evaluate seniors for the Senior Bowl, but you've got a great young player when they flash, and when you're not looking for them and you still notice them, that's usually when you've got a guy coming up the pipe. And when we were watching the tape on all those seniors, the Greg Brookses, the Jay Wards, Ali Gay, Mike Jones, all those guys, Baskerville, that guy just kept flashing and making plays. So it's great that they've got him there for 2 more years. So it's going to be at least 2 more years. Selfishly, I'd love if he stuck around for a senior year, but the way that Perkins is rolling right now, he'll probably be out as a junior.
Everybody listening to this right now also selfishly wishes that he would stick around for his senior year. You're not alone there, Jim. That's kind of what everyone says is, man, he flashes and he's got 2 more. Like, he's only going to get better. So I kind of for that reason where even if you're not looking for him, you can't help but notice 40. So I figured you'd have at least a little bit of a thought. He's been the talk of the town for sure so far this season. Jim Nagy, the executive director of the Reese's Senior Bowl, with us every week here on Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Jim, we appreciate the time and the insight. And, hey, maybe we didn't think we were going to do it, but we're going to do it again next week and preview the Georgia Bulldogs from Atlanta.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome that y'all are heading over there. That's going to be a great game. Can't wait to talk about it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jim. We'll talk then.
Thanks, Matt.
That is Jim Nagy, the executive director of the Reese's Senior Bowl. Tigers and Aggies tonight from College Station. We continue to count you down live from Rouse's on Burbank and Lee. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
I am Juliette, daughter of Marguerite, granddaughter of Gabriel Piera. I come from a line of strong women who knew struggle and success too. Still, I was scared by my breast cancer diagnosis. But I had Blue Cross coverage, which meant I got care from top doctors. I'm strong like my mother, and her mother before her. The right card, the right care.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Recruiting with Shay Dixon from On3 Sports. Presented by Shell. Shell is the rhythm of Louisiana.
Back here at Rouse's, our LeBears countdown to kickoff about 3 hours and 48 minutes from right now. We bring in Shay Dixon from On3. Shay, hope you had a good Thanksgiving. How are you?
I'm doing well. I hope you had one as well. A good Thanksgiving, Charles. How are you?
Very, very good. Let's start with a decommitment because this was news this week when Darren Reed, the four-star from Columbus, Georgia, defensive lineman, decommitted from LSU and committed to Auburn before they had a football coach, or maybe he knew something we didn't know or we were just speculating on. Probably by this time tomorrow, Auburn will have a new head football coach. But in the meantime, was this something you expected, and how bad does this ding LSU?
This is something we expected largely because word kind of started to spread that, hey, look, this is a kid, again, from Columbus right across the state line. I mean, he's about Hammond to Baton Rouge away from Auburn, and he had visited Auburn a ton this year. While committed to LSU, but they didn't have a great year. They were going through a coaching change, all of that. As you noted, he commits before they even announce a head coach, and it's evident, clearly not going to be Cadillac, so not like their interim's moving into the job there. It doesn't appear. Surprising, yeah. Look, we're in the NIL era, Charlie, and I think that is a big kind of point to look at when you look at why he flipped over to Auburn and what they're doing to try to make an immediate splash out of the gates here with both a hire and a recruiting class.
You know, with NIL, Shay, I mean, when we used to see these flips in recruiting, it's almost like we would talk in code. It's like, was it more attractive over that? Like, just straight up, they bought him. Okay, LSU's bought kids. Since the NIL thing, I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. You went and the money was the biggest deal, and I'm not blaming anybody. That's just the way it is. It's happened in the NFL for years. Sometimes you get outbid on a free agent, and that's what recruiting is now. I mean, you cover it every day. That's my impression of what recruiting is now. You tell me.
I think it's fair. I mean, look, that's not the end-all, be-all. A lot of kids are still going to commit to a school where, they feel comfortable playing or they like the coaching staff, or whatever it might be. And look, I'll say this. Bama, Ohio State, Georgia are all playing the NIL game a lot like LSU, which is more of a long game with kids instead of how A&M did it with a quick payoff. Look, why do you think Saban was yelling at Jimbo? Or people are out there saying, well, Bama can just go buy all the kids they want to, but they're not. Or they would have bought all of Jimbo's kids last year, and they didn't, and they got upset about it because they said they're doing this the wrong way. And look, everyone can approach things however they want to, but I think this year Auburn is going to be the A&M from last year, not in terms of that many kids or any of that, but this is what they're going to do to try to get some momentum, is try to get some kids from the state, from the border states who are committed elsewhere, get them in the boat, hire a new coach, get a new staff, try to create some buzz. And you're right. This is kind of, we avoided saying it like that before, but that's fine to say it that way now. And I don't think that it's the end of the day for LSU. Obviously, LSU's fine on the NIL front. They'll continue to grow on the NIL front. They'll catch up with other schools on the NIL front, but they're not going to go out and just get into a bidding war when Auburn is desperate. And that's what Auburn is right now. They're just the facts. They're a bit desperate to put together a good recruiting class to welcome in a new head coach. And now LSU needs to go and focus on themselves, which is, yes, you lost a pretty good defensive tackle. What are you going to do about it? And Jaquelin Roy is probably playing in his final year here, Charlie. I'll let you kind of give me your opinion there. But I would think Mason Smith coming back, and you got Mekhi Wingo coming back, and Guillory's on the bench. But you don't know who they have at DT after that. And they really only have a couple guys that have never played. So if I'm LSU, I'm heavy in the transfer portal, hoping I can strike gold twice with another Mekhi Wingo type of player.
Yeah, I'm with you on Roy. I agree completely. In the next 18 days, this is what's on Brian Kelly's agenda, okay? He's got to coach and win this game today against Texas A&M. Next week they play for the Southeastern Conference Championship. In between that, right after that, the transfer portal is going to open for real. And he will have to not only go after players that are in the transfer portal that he wants to bring in, he'll have to defend against players that he doesn't want to leave entering the transfer portal to go out. And then National Signing Day. All of that's in the next 18 days, so I'm guessing he's not going to be playing much golf.
And then you just think, expand that little scenario. You got another week extra, and you got through a whole signing day. Oh, my God. This is why coaches are saying, Charlie, yeah, thank you for an early signing period. It allowed us to get a lot of the class in the boat. But if you're one of the teams that's doing all those things you just mentioned, the conference championship game, it's a lot. I mean, that is a lot to fit in. And now you've tossed in a portal which didn't exist before when you made this early signing day, a portal window of 45 days that begins on December 5th. So, yeah, this is not a lot of time for golf. This is going to be a busy stretch. But, hey, look, they pay him a lot of money. Sure, he'll be able to handle it.
Shay, they did get some good news earlier today. 2025 DB Jalen Bell, and obviously that's a long way away, but he's out of Grayson in Georgia. What can you tell us about him so far?
Yeah, this is a 2025 prospect, and guys right now are seniors or 2023, so he's a sophomore. I usually like to make a firm rule that that I don't pay too much attention to recruiting until they're playing their junior season or getting it after, at some point closer to 3 years away from college football. But it's a nice pickup for him, a good defensive back. He's ranked as a top 10 corner in the country, but it's also at Grayson, which is one of the best schools in Georgia. And now they have a senior from Grayson's team committed, a junior from Grayson's team committed, and now a sophomore. I think that might be the notable storyline here early on, is that they're getting not a footprint with a lot of schools, Georgia, Tennessee, recruit Grayson High and take kids each year from the team. But Georgia is one of the best states to have a little bit of a foothold in and some relationships going well and signing kids from. And LSU's done that under the prior regime. They're doing it right now I know I just mentioned they led things off here, the Georgia kid decommitting, but for the most part, they've been very good at recruiting Georgia. They've got a number of kids still committed. So I think we're in 2025, long time away, but you add another Grayson kid, which is like adding a kid from, a Neville or, one of those type of programs in the cars where every year they're going to have someone you can recruit.
Shay, laying out those 18 days, give me priorities for Brian Kelly in recruiting. The list, how he wants to finish out the early signing period class, and then how that will include guys in the transfer portal that you guys have maybe looked at and said this is somebody they could target.
Yeah, until you tossed recruiting in there, I was going to say priority number 1, win tonight. Priority number 2, win next Saturday.
Yeah, I got that part. I got you for recruiting.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take it the rest of the way. Look, they're going to not be on the road like all these other coaches, other than LSU and Georgia. They'll send guys out on the road next week because your season's done to the bowl game. That's a month away. You're not really planning for any of that right now. You still have a week till you know where you're going to a bowl game if you're in one. So recruiting begins for everyone else, but championship teams this next week. So LSU will already be a week behind in that regard. They won't have guys coming in for official visits next weekend because they'll obviously be in Atlanta. So you've got to talk about those 18 days. Now all of a sudden you're squeezing a whole lot more recruiting into a much smaller window. But I do think next week they will be gearing up for, yes, Georgia, but also making sure all their ducks are in a row with the high school commits, with some of the top targets who they've got locked in for official visits in December, meaning they'll come to campus and spend a few days with their family, whatever coaches, whoever comes with them, before they sign in December. But and he talked a little bit about this and said they've done a lot of their homework already, which I know to be the case. Like I've talked to a number of sources who said they've got a pretty good feel for who's coming back, who's leaving, who might transfer out, what their numbers could look like, and all these different elements that will lead you when December 5th opens and all of these kids start to hit the transfer portal. You got to hit the ground running. So, and that's what 2 days after the SEC championship. And as one college coach told me, I've had a couple of college coaches say this at a number of schools, it's basically having guys sit in front of a computer, refreshing it, watching the portal. Boom, new names in. Is that a guy we had on our watch list? Is that a position? What do we know about this kid? If we watch his film, his college tape, all these different things, and then you're after it. And I guess maybe there is some confidence to take away from what Kelly and the staff were able to do, I would think, this past year in the portal. Like, they took 19 transfers, and most of them play a pretty big role in them being on the verge of a 10-win regular season. So they've been down this portal path before. I don't think it'll be a 19 again. In fact, I know it won't be. They'll probably take 5, 6, 7 portal guys and kind of fill some holes. But it'll be interesting to see. Kelly went last time the portal was, hey, coach, rebuild us a roster through this thing. This time it's, hey, coach, fill some holes. And I'm interested to see how they approach it.
Shay, for those that only follow recruiting on signing day, they look in and see where LSU's ranked, and other than that, they don't follow recruiting. They just follow the
God
team.
Bless them.
Yeah, right. Imagine. What's realistic to hope for when the early signing period is complete? Where do you expect LSU to land?
There's 5 now. I would say between 4 and 6, which is a very good range. I mean, look, they finished outside the top 10 last year, but again, only signed 15 high school guys. They've got 25 committed right now. So I'd say after the early signing period, as always, you lost one today. You might lose a couple. You'll gain a few more. Everyone around you kind of does some shuffling. So I'd say somewhere between 4 to 6 is a good bet. And that's a really, really good class.
You know what, Shay? What I love about you is you're very specific, okay? You say, hey, they're 5 right now, so I expect them to finish between 4 and 6, which is 5. Okay, yeah. I mean, hey, listen, you are spot on right there. 5 is definitely between 4 and 6. No question, no question about it. All right, Shay. We will see you in Atlanta. I got to fly commercial. Gordy's got me going through Pittsburgh. He's flying private everywhere, but I will probably see you at some point in Atlanta, and maybe we can do this live next week.
I'm looking forward to it. I'll link up in person.
All right. Thanks, Shay. Have a great weekend.
All right, boys. You too.
Shay Dixon from On 3. Our Louisiana charter fishing catch and cook fishing experience is wrapping up today. At the end of the regular season, which is today, they are going to select a grand prize winner, randomly selected and notified. They'll enjoy lodging in a charter fishing trip for themselves and a friend, along with special guest Chef Jay Ducote, for a full day of fun on the water, and go catching with one of Louisiana's best captains. After fishing, the grand prize winner and their guests will head back to the camp with Chef Jay for an unforgettable cookout and dinner for all. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for anybody who loves fishing, food, and fun. Entering to win is easy. There's still time. For a chance to win, visit GoCatch.com. That's GEAUX catch.com and complete the registration form. 5 runners-up will be selected to win a LouisianaCharterFishing.com prize pack valued at $100. LouisianaCharterFishing.com. OTB on Game Day is next here from Rouse's Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Off the bench on Game Day. Off the Bench is heard weekday mornings from 7 to 10 on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Now from OTB, here's Jacob Hester.
Back here, Eagle 98.1 Game Day, Rouse's, Burbank, and Lee. Earlier this week on Off the Bench, T-Bob Hebert and Jacob Hester previewed LSU and the Texas A&M Aggies.
There's been an idea that has been percolating and
it's something that I think is true now. Like, okay, after LSU won the West, a lot of the talk was, anything, mission accomplished. Is a pretty incredible season already. Anything that happens from here on out is lagniappe. But it has become, I think, readily clear that, yes, losing Atlanta to Georgia, nobody's going to care. If you somehow beat Georgia, made a playoff and lost in the playoff, nobody would care. It would still be all happiness, right? The only thing that is going to make people angry potentially, the only risk left of tainting this incredible season that has just defied all expectation is Texas A&M and College Station this Saturday.
Without question. Make no mistake about it, though. I mean, LSU's a place that wants to go play in an SEC championship game, show up, have that be a good game. So if they did lose, and you don't want to get blown out by any means, but like you said, it is lagniappe. It is something that you had no expectation to get there this year. You have. So this is the last hurdle. The hurdle is to beat Texas A&M, a team that is a bad football team. Not a team that's struggling, not a team that's trying to figure some things out, just a bad football team. UMass was in the game with them last week.
And help people out, Jake, because I'm not even clear on this, but I believe UMass isn't just a small school. I know about UMass, but I'm saying, literally they are viewed as what? One of the worst. Are they still FCS, or are they up to low FBS now?
No, so they are FBS.
Okay, but they are like
the
131
FBS.
or something, right? Out of all the over 130 FBS teams in the country, UMass may be considered the worst, and they were hanging with Texas A&M.
Yeah, so I mean, it is epically bad for Texas A&M. There's no hiding from that. I'm looking at UMass right now. They're 1-10. UMass's only victory came against Stony Brook, right? They lost by 32.
Freaking Stony Brook, dude!
They lost by 32 to Tulane. They lost by 45 to Toledo. They lost by 28 to Temple. They lost by 20 to Liberty. So you get it, right?
Yes.
So that's who UMass is, and it was only 20-3, and it was 20-3 late. So they are a bad football team. Now, I don't know what College Station's going to look like this week. Last week there was 6 people in there. I got to imagine there's going to be a lot more people in there for LSU because this game means a lot more to them than it does to you. Okay.
It should be packed, right? They have the cultish buy-in. They hate LSU. It's the last game of the year. It's the same way that it represents LSU's biggest, potential anger-inducing pitfall of the season.
Right.
LSU represents a wonderful salve for their season, right? You can't get bowl eligible. You will, at best, finish tied for last in the SEC in terms of conference record. There's nothing actually to play for from a number standpoint. The only thing you have to play for would be ruining LSU's good time, much like LSU last year. The same way that, yes, last year really helped to make an awful season feel a bit better with Jere Jenkins catching that last-second game-winning touchdown and being able to clown A&M and making fun of them and Texas 8-4 and all those jokes. I don't want to be on the other side of that equation.
No, because it's even worse for them.
Yes.
For LSU, they got them bowl eligible last year, which was an awful season.
Right. So they did have stuff to play for.
But I'm saying at least LSU got to a bowl game because of that. A&M's even worse than that.
Yeah.
You can go play the game that you played against Arkansas, which wasn't great offensively, and still beat this Texas A&M team. So you have to absolutely not show up, in my opinion, to go beat Texas A&M. So you've just got to go there, play your game, do all those coaching cliches, and you'll be fine. And you have to realize, what's ahead of you. If the committee didn't give you some juice this week, then I don't know what will. They still have you ahead of USC.
Yeah.
That should tell you if you take care of business, if you do what you're supposed to do, if you find a way to go beat Georgia, everything that you want is still in front of you. So that should be motivation enough to know that you sit there at number 5, right? 2 and 3 play each other. 4 still got to play a championship game. All those things that we already know. So for me, that should give you all the motivation and the fact that you don't like them either.
Now, I saw A-Chain is back. And really, that's been kind of an undercurrent to the entire season that's almost overwhelming at times, is trying to make sense of A&M's roster in terms of who's available and who's not.
Yeah.
Whether it's flu or sickness or guys being suspended or guys getting hurt or checking out. Week to week, there have been a laundry list of guys that are out. They get A-Chain and, who's their good wide receiver? They're getting 2 offensive weapons back, essentially. Does that worry you at all?
No.
Okay, yeah.
Because of the play calls, because of the play design, because of the inconsistent quarterback play. I mean, A-Chain's played a bulk of the year. he's played a majority of the year.
True.
I know Anais Smith missed most of the year, and he's kind of their game changer. But it's not really right now the roster. Like, the roster's got talent. It's just the way that they've tried to put everything together. So, no, like, if I'm LSU, like, that should not – you go back and you look at what LSU was able to do against Ole Miss's rushing attack, what they've been able to do against some of the better ones that they've faced, even Arkansas's rushing attack, right? Arkansas had the leading rusher in the SEC. Arkansas had a running quarterback. You shut all of that down. So one player like that should not make you scared if you're LSU. Like, there's nothing that I can come on here and say that I feel like Texas A&M has an advantage over you. Not one position right now. But you still got to go out there. We all know that. You got to play the game. But you have to realize, like, you are a dominant football team, certainly on the defensive side over really the latter portion of the season. Offensively, you've only had one hiccup. You're the better team. Just go play like the better team. This is a big recruiting weekend as well for LSU. Like, there's some battles between A&M and LSU. Yeah. Like, go use this to your advantage. Step on their throat. Let them know that, hey, this is like the beginning for us. Like, y'all have already had all these top 10 classes, and it's amounted to 3 wins. Like, we're just getting started, and we're in the SEC championship game. Go step on their throats. Go show those recruits where they should be going. Like, that's a big portion of this game for me.
The point of all this is that it's awful at A&M. It is as bad as we could have ever possibly imagined to go from 6th in the country to where they're at right now. And the only glimmer of hope that they have in this dismal death that is staring them in the face is beating LSU on Saturday. So you have to lock in. You have to be professional. Trust the process. And this is not even a trap game situation, Jake. I think for LSU, because you also have to. Well, actually, no. I take that back. I was thinking of it as an end of the season situation, but with Atlanta on the horizon, there is maybe a bit of a temptation to look forward past this one.
Yeah, but if you're LSU and you're trying to find a way to say, okay, will they look ahead? Have they looked ahead? I think last week they showed you that that's not going to be a factor. At least last week, right? Because you already had it clinched before you played UAB. Is UAB A&M? Well, actually, I don't know. UAB might beat Texas A&M this year if they played. I don't know that. UAB came to Tiger Stadium, though, and you took care of business. Yeah. Like, in bad weather, in a crowd that had a couple of thousand people in it.
Very sharp. It was very sharp.
Exactly what you all of that, whatever. Yeah. You did exactly what you had to do in that game. You dominated, right? And so you've already had that experience. And so if you're an LSU fan, that probably makes you feel a little bit better that you have had a game in which you've already known you're going to Atlanta. In a game that, for a lot of people, doesn't create a lot of juice because it's UAB. Like, not a lot of the teams from Alabama or from Birmingham. Like, this game is an SEC game. This is a game in which an opponent that you know is supposed to be your rival. And you've got a lot of players from the state of Texas. You have a lot of your roster that was recruited by Texas A&M. And so, like, they know that brand. They know that team. And so, that's one thing that I'm not worried about right now because you've already had that moment in a game that could have been much sleepier than this game.
Yeah, and you owe guys like Max Johnson and others who may have left. So you're right. There's motivation there. You just have to be worried about. I done seen it. Even in 2007, now that was a way better Arkansas team. So it's not a perfect analogy at all. But I think even our 07 team, Jake, was maybe guilty a little bit of looking forward to Atlanta, and I remember Ricky Jean-Francois basically giving a speech after that game about how, like, we were all talking about this or that, and basically saying, like, I don't give a damn about none of that. We just got to lock in, focus on Tennessee, beat Tennessee, and let the chips fall where they may. And look, that ended up being the right course. So look, you know me, I didn't think it was a trap game going into the Arkansas game. And so in the same way, I don't feel like I'm changing my tune. I still trust the process. I trust the maturity of the leadership of this team. And I trust that Harold Perkins is going to dominate this very, very bad Texas A&M offense.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day reminds you about Running Board's marketing. They can help your business stand out with giant LED mobile billboard trucks. They will drive eye-catching ads. They are impossible to miss. Drive them all around town. Check them out for your business, runningboardsmarketing.com. That's runningboardsmarketing.com. We will grab a break, come back on the other side. Matt Moscona, AFR on Game Day. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
They said I was small, weak, said my heart wasn't strong enough. But I showed them what heart looked like, again and again and again. Mom got me the right care, the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Don't let people tell you who you are. Show them. The right card, the right care.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on it.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. After further review on Game Day, presented by the Grove Recovery Center. The Grove Recovery Center. Recovery designed for you. After further review is heard weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Now from AFR, here's Matt Moscona.
Back here at Rouse's, our LeBearish countdown to kickoff now at 3 hours and 19 minutes. We bring in Matt Moscona from AFR. Matt, good afternoon. Hello?
I'm here.
Okay, there you are.
Hey!
That's on Musso. Okay.
That was not bad.
I was about to say, bro, I'm on a landline.
Yeah.
If this fails, I got nothing for you, man.
Right. No, this one's straight on Musso. Okay, last week South Carolina pulled one of the biggest surprises of the season with that massive win over Tennessee. They just finished up a 31-30 win over Clemson. Matt, as improbable as last week's is, I'm not sure this isn't more impressive. To come off of that emotional high, dial it back up again, overcome some big mistakes with the pick six and the interception in the end zone from Rattler, and beat a Clemson team that has everything to play for. They're still harboring hopes of a playoff berth. I mean, they needed a lot of help, but now that's over for sure. Pretty impressive what Shane Beamer has done here.
And on the road.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been one thing if they had home field advantage, but I mean, we saw LSU struggle after upsetting Bama, storm the field, emotional letdown a week later at Arkansas. This was going to Clemson, who had playoff hopes. I mean, I loved Clemson in this spot.
I had them. For sure.
Yeah, it was and look, and with the pick six to start the game, and you mentioned the interception in the end zone. You know, we've seen. I got a 2-year sample of Spencer Rattler to know who he is. To say last week was the outlier. So good for them. I mean, Shane Beamer this year has been mighty impressive. Maybe the most impressive coaching job in the league that no one's talking about. We focused a lot on what Brian Kelly has done, obviously. and Josh Heupel. But, man, Shane Beamer getting that team to 8 wins is maybe as impressive as anything in the league this year.
And the other big shocker, it's a shocker, but maybe how this thing has played out. Michigan, who found out on the first drive that they would not have Blake Corum for the rest of the day, has played Ohio State off their feet. They're up 15 points with 3 minutes to go. They're, barring a miracle, they're going to win this thing. They're going to be in the Big Ten championship game and probably the college football definitely the college football playoff. So give me your thoughts on what you saw there today, because J.J. McCarthy, they had talked all year about, hey, listen, there's going to be a game where he's got to throw the football for them to win. He answered that bell today.
Well, and I'm looking at it right now, and they're showing the stat. Musso and I talked about this yesterday in AFR. Michigan played bully ball with Ohio State last year. They ran for 180 yards in the second half, ran for 300 yards in the game, and when you can control the line of scrimmage, I mean, this is an old cliche. I'm not trying to be what's in the Fansville commercial, a fansplainer.
Yeah.
But when you can control the line of scrimmage and control your will and push people around, you can control a game. And people have been down on Michigan this year because they haven't played anybody, and that is a fair criticism. I mean, their schedule is that the strength of schedule, I believe, is in the 80s. Weakest non-conference strength of schedule. They're ripping off another one.
Yeah,
he's going to go. He's about to go 80 yards.
He's gone. We're ahead of you on the TV. He's gone.
Oh, he's gone.
He's gone.
So, but this is the point. Is when you control the line of scrimmage, and Ohio State did nothing this year to change that dynamic. And I think the strength of that season opening win against Notre Dame carried the opinion on Ohio State throughout the year. But ask Moose, I had Michigan. My heaviest play of the day was on Michigan. I'm not sure I expected them to win by 3 touchdowns at the Horseshoe, but I loved Michigan in this spot today, and I'm really not surprised. Now, I think if they go run up against Georgia in the playoff, they're going to get run again, but I love them in this spot against Ohio State because Ohio State has not figured out how to stop that running game.
What is Ohio State's case for the playoff now, or do they have one at all in your mind?
So in my opinion, the only way that they have a case, Clemson losing helps, but Ohio State would need Southern Cal to lose to Notre Dame, and then they would have to have Georgia beat LSU, which would in essence eliminate LSU from the conversation. And then let's assume, so you'd have undefeated Michigan and then undefeated TCU if that plays out the way it does. Then you'd have 2 spots open. And Ohio State could look and say, we're a one-loss team. They would have the same argument in essence that Georgia had a year ago when they lost the conference championship game, albeit not in the conference championship game. Or maybe a better comp would be Michigan or Ohio State now takes the spot Tennessee would have had as an 11-1 team. So maybe that's an argument, but they're going to need a lot of help to get in.
I want to ask you about Hugh Freeze because if there's ever been a team that was distracted, it was Temple today as a 24-point favorite. They got run out of the stadium by New Mexico State, so we expect that Hugh Freeze will be named head coach at Auburn sometime tomorrow. That news will probably be released by Auburn officially tonight, I would think. Good fit, in your opinion?
Well, so as a coach, yes, of course. Hugh Freeze has proven he can win in the SEC and a tough place to win in the SEC. And he'll have all the resources he needs. I just don't trust Auburn. I mean, there's always so many cooks in the kitchen there. You've seen it not work enough times. If you leave Hugh Freeze to his own devices to recruit and to build a staff and to coach football, he'll win there. And look, I mean, there's something to be said for being content in life. And Hugh Freeze making $5 million coaching at Liberty where he could stay the rest of his life and been really content. But he's never going to win a championship there. And the reason that he's willing to jump from Liberty to Auburn is he'll have a chance to win a championship at Auburn. But that's the same reason why I would look at Lane Kiffin and say, I get why Lane doesn't leave Ole Miss for Auburn, because while Auburn is a better job than Ole Miss, Lane will likely be in line for an even better job. I would say Auburn's probably a top 15 job in the country. Lane could be in line for a top 5 job in the country eventually. If Bama, Texas, maybe Texas A&M, something like that comes open. So I think it was wise of Lane to stay, and I also understand why Hugh Freeze makes that jump. And he makes Auburn supremely relevant. He is a phenomenal football coach.
Who do you think's the better coach between Kiffin and Hugh Freeze? Everything else equal. Let's assume they're making the same money at the same. Who's a better coach?
Freeze is inarguably a more decorated head coach. I don't even think that there's any conversation. Lane petered out at SC. He had a good run at FAU, and last year was strong at Ole Miss. But I think there's no doubt that you'd argue Hugh Freeze as a head coach has been more successful from Arkansas State to Ole Miss now to Liberty.
I ask because I was making the same argument that you were during the week, which is Kiffin may wait for the Texas, the Oklahoma, the Alabama job to open up, all of which could conceivably happen in a relatively short period of time. But after the Egg Bowl, every disgruntled Auburn and Ole Miss fan got out there and talked about pretty much every crack in the sidewalk that Lane Kiffin had ever stepped on. His record in bowl games, his record against top 25 teams, what happened to them this year after a 7-0 start. And if you go through it with a fine-tooth comb, you're going, you know what? He's getting a lot of credit for what he did under Saban and at Florida Atlantic. Is he really this gigantic, massive, hot candidate that we're talking about?
Well, I'll put it to you this way. Every resource he would have ever needed, he had at Southern Cal, and he didn't win there. But I think you and I would both agree Lane is a different coach today, post working under Saban at Alabama, than he was then. And Lane at SC is the guy who continued, people would say he failed upward. As a young guy, got the gig with the Raiders, and then took the Tennessee job, and then 1 year to Southern Cal. He just kept failing upwards. He's I think a much better, more stable coach today than he was then. So if you take Lane Kiffin and give him the resources of Alabama after Nick Saban, I think he wins and wins big there.
Yeah. All right. For everybody out there going, this is an LSU pregame show, right? All of this affects LSU in one way or the other. All of this affects LSU. So let me ask you about Jimbo Fisher now. And I don't have to set up the preamble. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows. I don't know that there's any coach in America whose contract details are quite as well known as Jimbo Fisher's. So when the clock hits 0 tonight, there's going to be some changes in College Station, roster, staff, maybe the head coach. I don't know. Your thoughts on how everything went so wrong there and what happens next?
Well, I think also you spent the first 7-8 minutes talking to me about things not LSU Texas A&M as an illustration of where Texas A&M is and how most people feel about this game. But specifically with Jimbo, I think things went terribly wrong this year. Number one, he made a mistake at the beginning of the season starting Haynes King. Max Johnson should have been a starter all year. And if Max Johnson is the starter all year, Charlie, I'm not telling you they're a contender, but I think they beat South Carolina. I think they probably beat Ole Miss. Their season looks a lot different than what's going to be 4-8 after tonight. Their customary 8-4 is probably more likely. I think they would have beaten Appalachian State if Max was playing then. So I think that's a big part of it, right? They made that decision after App State. Max had stabilized them. They beat Arkansas. They beat Miami. He gets hurt, and then, they go on the 6-game losing streak. Injuries have been a part of it, but by and large, it's everything everybody said. It's, Jimbo's got an antiquated offense. They can't move the football. They've had a real tough time on the offensive line this year, and their defensive front just can't stop the run. And I know there's a lot of LSU fans that have anxiety about tonight, Charlie. I don't know if you remember we talked before Ole Miss. That was the most confident I was in an LSU game all year. I feel equally tonight as I did then, if not more. Like, there is no anxiety for LSU tonight. The only path – A&M is a bad football team. Their only path tonight is if LSU turns it over 3-4 times, gives them defensive scores, short fields, things like that. That's the only way. You don't end up 4-7 by happenstance. A&M's a bad football team, and LSU should not have a problem tonight.
Scone, we appreciate it. Whiskey and wine following the game?
Looking forward to it, man. Our last hurrah, Don Juan for the year, man. So we'll be over there in Town Center, T-Bob and I, as soon as the clock hits 0. So invite anybody to come on out or watch us on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube.
Did you hear that Gordy's flying private air to College Station?
I did. I actually just spoke to him within the hour. And he told me that he was hanging in. I'm like, so you're in College Station right now? He goes, no, I'm jumping on the TAF plane Leaving here about 3. You're leaving here at 3 for 6 o'clock kick. Okay, wonderful. It's good to be Gordy Rush, and unfortunately, we are not him.
I want you to remember that when we are at the Charlotte airport on our layover next Sunday morning, trying to find a coffee shop that's open that doesn't have a brick, an iron brick Danish or something like that.
You know what? This much I know. T-Bob will find beer. It doesn't matter if it's 8 a.m.
T-Bob's not coming. T-Bob's not coming.
Oh, he's not coming. That's right.
T-Bob's got to have a baby next week. No, T-Bob's not coming. So scratch that idea. All right, Scott, we appreciate it, man. Have a good show after the game.
See you guys.
And we will take a break. Our LeBears countdown to kickoff is at 3 hours and 5 minutes. We're at Rouse's. Download the mobile app for your curbside delivery. Look, is that the sun coming out? Sort of? Kinda? Maybe? Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different.
98.1. The First South Farm Credit College Football Scoreboard. First South Farm Credit. Financing farms and land since 1916.
Today's so much fun. I can't believe we're getting paid to do this. Auburn has scored.
Have I told you how much I love Cadillac Williams?
First points of the Iron Bowl belong to the Tigers. This is about a 25-yard touchdown run for Ashford that will put them up 6-0 with the extra point to come. About 7 minutes into the Iron Bowl, and Auburn has taken it. Are they going to look at this? I thought he was in for sure. Are they going to say maybe he was down? No, he's in. He's in. I'm going to go to earlier finals because that's where the news is. Michigan finishes off what ended up being a blowout over Ohio State. 45-23, Wolverines was the final. J.J. McCarthy threw 3 touchdown passes. He ran for another one. And Michigan, Musso, you guys were talking about the bully ball and the rush. 252 yards on the ground today from Michigan. They did break a couple of long ones late to kind of inflate the total, but they averaged 7 yards a carry today.
That's the thing. Those long runs are the accumulation of you just being worn down. Most of the big plays came through the air early and then on the ground late. As you said, Hanny, they took over.
C.J. Stroud threw for 349 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also did throw 2 interceptions. Number 1, Georgia struggled early. It was 10-7 at the half, but pulled away in the second half. Beat Georgia Tech 37-12. South Carolina upsets number 8 Clemson at Memorial Stadium 31-30. Shane Rattler threw for 360 yards and 2 touchdowns. He did throw 2 costly interceptions, but it was the South Carolina defense late that stood up and made some plays. Will Shipley 132 yards on the ground for Clemson, but they are eliminated from the playoff race. They are going to the ACC championship game at 10-2. But what a season for Shane Beamer. 8-4, and the first time that South Carolina has ever beaten top 10 opponents in back-to-back weeks. They did this on the road. Very impressive there. Other earlier finals, West Virginia beat Oklahoma State 24-19. Western Kentucky beat Florida Atlantic 32-31 in overtime. Army beat UMass 44-7. New Mexico State beat Liberty 49-14. Not a game we'd ordinarily be paying a lot of attention to, but all of the reports that Hugh Freeze is headed to Auburn have, been made public. New Mexico State was a 24-point underdog in this game. They won the game by 35. Suffice to say that Liberty was a touch distracted. Maryland beat Rutgers 37-0. James Madison over what was 9-1 Coastal Carolina, 47-7. I know they were without McCall, but they were without McCall last week, and they beat Southern Miss. So big effort by James Madison today. South Alabama beat Old Dominion 27-7, and Marshall beat Georgia State 28-23. Games in progress right now. Kentucky leads number 25 Louisville 10-0. Malik Cunningham not playing for the Cardinals in that one. Auburn, we told you, just went ahead. That score stood 7-0 over Alabama about 7 minutes in. Number 9 Oregon leads number 21 Oregon State 7-3 in the first quarter. Bo Nix is playing. He has thrown about a 50-yard touchdown pass. So for the moment, Bo Nix looks fine. The line movement must have been some money moving the line because it was not the Nix injury. Games going at 3 o'clock include number 4 TCU and Iowa State. That game has huge national implications for the Horned Frogs. If they win, obviously they've keep their playoff hopes alive. Temple leads East Carolina 46-42. That's in the fourth quarter. Other fourth quarter scores: Buffalo leads Kent State 24-10. Akron over Northern Illinois 27-9. Rice and North Texas are tied at 14. That game is in the third quarter. Just underway, Illinois and Northwestern. Illini up 7-0. Minnesota leads Wisconsin 6-3. That's also in the first quarter. Other first quarter scores: Indiana leads Purdue 7-3. They're playing for the Old Oaken Bucket, but for Purdue, the stakes are very high. If they win, they are in the Big Ten championship game against Michigan. If they lose, get your calculator out, because is it Illinois?
It's
for
Illinois.
Sure? If they win,
because Iowa lost.
Okay.
And if Illinois loses and Purdue loses, it's Iowa.
Thank you for doing that for me, because I didn't want to go through the tiebreakers.
The Big Ten West is a mess, Andy.
Perfect. Thank you for doing that. Wake Forest leads Duke 7-3. San Jose State leads Hawaii 7-0. Memphis leads SMU 7-0. Arkansas State leads Troy 3-0. La Tech leads UAB 3-0. And UTEP leads Texas San Antonio by a score of 7-0. We're here at Rouse's, where you can download the mobile app for curbside delivery.
And you can also go to runningboardsmarketing.com. They can help your business out. Running Boards Marketing. They drive giant LED billboard trucks with your eye-catching ads all around the city. They are impossible to miss. Again, the website for you, runningboardsmarketing.com.
We'll be back in a moment with Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Brandon Hawley here. Wood windows with a lifetime guarantee? ReliefWindows.com.
Eagle 98.1, WTGL and HD1 Baton Rouge.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Opposing Media. Presented by Rev. Fiber fast internet made in Louisiana.
With the Tigers and the Aggies Saturday night from Kyle Field. 6 o'clock kickoff on ESPN. Let's go there now. Our buddy David Nuno from TexAgs.com. Good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here. David, we appreciate it. Belated Happy Thanksgiving. How are you?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on, brother. I appreciate you.
It's our pleasure. One of the big stories, obviously, this week, and Jimbo addressed it earlier this week, is a question of motivation, David. How motivated will this A&M team be coming into this game after, let's call it what it is, just a really disappointing season?
It's an interesting question because, the season's done. There's nothing you can beat LSU and it'll still be a failure, colossal failure of the season, the worst season we've seen here in a very long time. But the sense I get, at least the veterans and that I've talked to as we do some interviews there at TexAgs, is that they're all in. They're all in trying to beat LSU, a game that they thought that they won last year for multiple reasons, but they ended up losing with Max Johnson, coincidentally, obviously a part of Texas A&M right now. So I think you're going to see a pretty good effort. Jimbo's teams routinely have played opponents that are supposed to destroy them well. He's got a bunch of top 10 wins. Not saying that I'm predicting a victory, but I will say that his teams, when it looks like they're going to get destroyed by top teams, for some reason make it a game until the very end.
Let's talk a little bit about this Aggie team. And we all know the storylines of the struggles offensively. And the fact that they haven't scored 30 yet against a Power 5 opponent this season. What has been, if you could put your finger on it, that conversationally there every day, the biggest issue for this team offensively?
1,000% the offensive line. Look, the offense needs to be more creative. There's no doubt about that. Jimbo's running a 1984 system. It needs to evolve with the times. But I don't think that we'd be complaining as much if the quarterbacks who have been there. Now, and this goes now 2 seasons. Haynes King on a couple different occasions, Zach Calzada, Max Johnson, and Connor Wegman, who's looked very good in the limited time he's played with a little time. If he could have more time, the plays are there to be made. This is a team that could have won I don't know, 4 games this year on the last possession of the game, maybe 5, excuse me. So they're in these games, but they have to start scoring points, and that's not going to happen, obviously, this year. The offensive line has been atrocious. You've had guys in and out of the lineup. You had their center go out. The right side of the line was supposed to be the strongest part of it. They've been consistent. Layden Robinson and Ruben Fadri, they've been bad. There's a new offensive line coach this year who is Steve Adazio, who I think has struggled getting these guys to buy in. So it really starts 1,000% with the offensive line, because if you look at A-Chain's numbers, pretty good this year, Devon A-Chain. Could be so much better if he actually had some holes to run through.
That's a good question. A-Chain, Evan Stewart, a couple of guys who've been injured. Are we expecting that they will play against LSU?
Yeah, Billy Lucci reported that this week, that first off, Jimbo Fisher felt that they were practicing, felt good, and Billy feels that those two guys will be out there.
Okay.
And when you think about their offense too, Devon A-Chain, Evan Stewart, Moose Muhammad, who missed some time, and obviously Anaya Smith, who was their catalyst, went down early in the year. That's a big part of their offense recently.
Yeah, look, obviously losing Anaya Smith was huge for what he's been as a playmaker. We heard so much, obviously, about the freshman class. Connor Weigman's part of that. Evaluate, David, his performance in the opportunities he's gotten here late in the season, if you would.
Yeah, I think he's looked pretty good. Look, it's that offensive line has been pretty bad, but in the game against Ole Miss, in limited time in South Carolina, in a bunch of these games outside of UMass, I thought he's looked good. He plays off schedule. He can run. He shows his legs. He just hasn't had a lot of time to throw the ball. But we feel that he could be a difference maker in College Station. And you don't need to have Bryce Young to win in College Station. You need good enough, as Kellen Mond was. And this guy certainly has the upside to be even better than Kellen Mond was.
So who are the guys offensively that LSU fans will be on the lookout for in the game tomorrow? We mentioned A-Chain. Who else?
Yeah, Moose Muhammad is certainly one of the guys that you need to watch out for. He came on strong after Anaya Smith went down, had a couple 100-yard games, big acrobatic catches, and Evan Stewart's the freshman. Wide receivers, the position, it's not like offensive line that it takes a year and a half to get really good, but the really good ones sometimes take a little bit going in their freshman year, and he has made some acrobatic catches this year, has a great ability to put his body in position over some bigger guys. I would watch out definitely for Evan Stewart, a guy that I think Connor likes to go to, and he'll just have him back for the first time in a couple of weeks.
David Nuno is with us, TexAgs.com, talking about the Aggies. Let's flip it over and talk about that defense, man. It's just a polar opposite result when you look at the secondary and then the rush defense. Why has the rush defense struggled? How has the secondary been so good?
Well, the secondary hasn't had to take a lot of fire, to be honest with you, because teams can run on. That's the big part of it. Part of it, I struggle with the scheme that DJ Durkin likes to run. I mean, he a lot of times he runs a 3-man front with all the defensive line talent that he has. I think another part of it was McKinley Jackson, the nose. He had missed a big part of the year, and he's definitely their best defensive player. He missed a big chunk of the year. Even when he's been out there, though, teams have been able to run on them. I think the scheme has been bad, and linebacker play has been atrocious. Harold Perkins, who was obviously starring for the LSU and having that kind of year, the guy that was committed to Texas A&M, burned the hat on signing day and decided to stick it and go to LSU, he's been a phenomenal player. He would start like on any program, but he would be the guy. They don't really have linebacker play, and that has been a hard part of their defensive struggles this year. But I will say this about the defense. As bad as they've been against giving up the run, they actually keep most teams below their season total of points. I don't want to call it a bend-don't-break defense, but it seems like teams will run on them, but they don't always score on them. And that's been something we've seen throughout the year.
I would assume that would be LSU's plan as well, to run the ball, but LSU's got great receivers. And we have seen Jaden Daniels put the ball in the air the second half of the season, trust those receivers. How does that matchup look with A&M's secondary against the LSU receivers if LSU starts airing it out?
If they're as healthy as we think they are, and Antonio Johnson is back, and some of the younger players are out there, it'll be interesting to see, because I don't think LSU has to pass the ball very much. If Jaden Daniels, and every running quarterback has run successfully against A&M. Jackson Dart looked like he was freaking Randall Cunningham against them, the way he broke down the pocket and was able to get some yardage. KJ Jefferson had success. They've all had success on him. So if Jaden Daniels wants to run, he's going to be able to run, and that's going to open everything up. Against quarterbacks like Florida, Anthony Richardson, and we saw also against Auburn, they don't have to throw the ball on A&M, but those guys haven't had the wide receivers that LSU has. I think it plays nicely for LSU. Look, as I said at the top of this, I wouldn't be surprised if A&M makes this a game and it's a close fourth quarter. I also wouldn't be surprised if LSU runs away with it because of their ability to run the ball, and also when Jay Daniels is on point, throw the ball.
What about special teams, David? That's been at times a circus for LSU this year. How are the Aggies?
I would say mixed reviews. Like the punter was supposed to be amazing. Has had his struggles this year. They've given up some points of special teams. They scored some points special teams wise as well. You'll remember the Arkansas game. They blocked they blocked the field goal that was against Mississippi State, and Mississippi State was able to score. It's been all over the place with A&M special teams wise, and that's a factor. When a team is bad, they find ways to lose, and A&M has been bad, and they have found ways to lose on offense, on defense, and on special teams.
Yeah. And it's certainly been a long year. What's the atmosphere going to be like at Kyle Field? Are you expecting it to be full throat, or I mean, look, obviously I don't think it'll be what it was in a rainy second half against UMass last week, clearly. But what's the expectation for what the environment will be like?
I wouldn't be surprised with about 90,000, and I know that sounds ridiculous with the kind of year that A&M has had, and also last week's pictures of the way Cal Field was half empty. But Alabama struggled having people in the stadium as well last week. Like the weather was a huge factor. Taking on UMass that nobody cares about is a huge factor, and that team was in the middle of a 6-game losing streak. I think LSU is a game that people get up for, family, relatives. It is a rivalry game, not the biggest rivalry between those two programs, obviously, but it's a big one. And it's been one of those that the home team has been able to win quite often in it. So at least in recent history with Jimbo involved. So I do think it'll be packed. I think it'll be a good crowd. The students were out to pick up their tickets this week in full force. Nothing like we saw against UMass, which was very empty. So I expect a big crowd.
David Nuno from TexAgs.com. Appreciate it, man. Belated happy Thanksgiving again. Enjoy the game on Saturday. Thanks as always.
Thank you, brother. Hope to see you soon.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
When I was a boy, I spent my days climbing trees, catching fish. Barefoot in the river I walked, listening to crickets, counting stars. This was home. After my stroke, I wondered if I'd make it back to the people and places I love. But I got the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Your card matters. Your home does too.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Talkin' Tigers. Presented by Louisiana Land Bank. Louisiana Land Bank. They're experts in rural land and equipment lending. Talkin' Tigers. Wide receiver Jeray Jenkins.
Coach Kelly, he been doing a great job with us, like getting us prepared and stuff like that, and also the other staffs that's under him or whatever. I can say, like, for one, like, it starts with him or whatever, and like you can tell that the little things that he talked about and told us, like the preparation and all that stuff, like, it all matters and stuff, and I feel like that it's been helping us all, and it's been getting us to the point that we need to be at.
Defensive end BJ Ojulari.
Still a one game at a time process. We're not looking too far ahead. Everyone telling us we control our own destiny, so we're not going to do anything to put that in jeopardy. Texas A&M is still a great team, led by a great head coach with a great history. So for us, we just have to stay focused on the task at hand and play each game 1 week at a time.
Defensive end Ali Gay.
When there's not a lot of people in the stands, you kind of have to create your own energy. That's kind of what we did, and we've always felt confidence in what we can do. And so we just went out there. We didn't care about the weather or the cold. It was raining. There's gonna be some mistakes here and there, but you just gotta stay the course and just know that there's still a football game that we gotta play, and we still gotta apply a process of how we play every game and finish the game and just get a dub.
Wide receiver Jeray Jenkins.
I feel like after the game, nobody believed we'd be in the situation that we are now. But like I said, the men in this room, the men that we have on our team, whatever, we knew that if we prepare the right way, we can be whatever we want to be with. And like I just said, once we do that, we'll be great, and that speaks for itself.
Defensive end BJ Ojulari.
Just going through camp, going through summer and everything, you see the potential in him, the playmaking ability, and I'm just so happy for him being able to showcase it, and especially those top 10 games and all those games that he led us in to win.
Defensive end Ali Gay.
It's a new week, a new opportunity. As always, doesn't matter who we play. Last week was last week as always, and every time we go into a new week, we try to flip the page and get ready for our opponent. This being the last regular season game, we know what we got to do. We got to put a cap to the regular season, and nothing feels better than to have a 10-win season.
Wide receiver Jeray Jenkins.
He's the quarterback. He's the one running the show. Like I said, we follow his lead or whatever. We're gonna go as far as he takes us or whatever and stuff like that. So like I say, his preparation and the way that he practices and stuff like that, it all speaks for itself. Like, we see it day in and day out and whatever, and if he keep doing with him, just getting 1% better a day, and he'll take us exactly where we want to go.
Defensive end BJ Ojulari.
I've definitely had a all right year, in my opinion. I think I could have made more plays, but just being able to disrupt the quarterback and add into the run game as well, set edges, create TFLs, just little stuff like that. That's what I've been working on. So I think I've been more productive this year, in my opinion.
Defensive end Ali Gay.
They're a talented team, and we know that they haven't had the best season, but we know they're gonna play their best against us. So we're just gonna come at them the same as we do anybody, and stack on last week and just get better and bring it. So it's not a game off. It's the last game, so we got to finish strong.
Wide receiver Jeray Jenkins.
They're gonna give us their best. Like I said, we just gotta worry about us. Our preparation, just taking one day at a time, whatever, and we just know that we got to go out there and execute at a high level that we have been, and we just can't get relaxed just because of just the last game or we comfortable in a spot. Like I said, we are not. We know that we have something to play for, and we just got to have that mindset when we go out there and play them.
Defensive end BJ Ojulari.
College Station, even when it was 2020 and the field wasn't packed, it was still loud, it was still rowdy. They got a great fan base, and they support their team very well. But I know it's going to be a great atmosphere going into College Station, and just having a great fight with them and coming out with the victory.
Talking Tigers. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
I am Juliet, daughter of Marguerite, granddaughter of Gabriel Piera. I come from a line of strong women who knew struggle and success too. Still, I was scared by my breast cancer diagnosis, but I had Blue Cross coverage, which meant I got care from top doctors. I'm strong like my mother and her mother before her. The right card, the right care.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. and I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jdacody.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Keys to the beat. Presented by Coors Light. Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill.
And we're back here at Rouse's. Download the mobile app for your curbside delivery. We bring in Richard Dixon. He'll be joining us on post-game as well after LSU and Texas A&M. Rich, the last time you and I did an LSU Texas A&M post-game, we were there for 7 overtimes. I promise you that's not happening tonight. Okay?
Don't do that tonight. I can't take that.
I mean, you got enough on your plate right now, man. We don't want any part of 7 over that. Hey, look, if we can't take any other claim to fame, it'll be that we changed the rule. Okay, they changed the overtime rule after that. Richard and I were literally 90 seconds away from going on air, and an hour and 15 minutes later, we actually got to start the show. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good, man. It's been a great start to the football today. I've had some good games. Feeling good. It's been a good day.
Yeah, there's been a lot of big surprises so far in college football. Let's talk about getting LSU going tonight. When LSU went up to Arkansas, they saw some different looks, some wider looks, if you will. Jaden Daniels made a couple of mistakes early, and it really kind of stagnated the LSU offense for a lot of the day. Last week, got going early, got the big completion of Malik Neighbors. So what kind of looks might LSU see early from Texas A&M based on those last 2 games?
Well, I think you're going to see them try to do similar to what Arkansas did, playing a lot of zone, dropping, only rushing with 3, trying to create those lanes, and then also spying Jaden. But, I also think Arkansas was just an off week for us. I think that we had things going so well for 4 weeks. We had a nice early morning cold game. That day just wasn't ours that day. I think, we got that out of our system, and we're going to get rolling early tonight.
The continuity offensive line really since midseason has been key. And when you look at A&M's rush defense, it's the worst in the Southeastern Conference. So you tell me about the LSU rush game tonight and how much you want Jaden Daniels involved in it.
I only want Jaden if he has to. Let's hope he doesn't have to. I want our backs to get out there, have an early start. Man, I really think this game is, if you jump on A&M early, this team really lacks leadership. It's not been the season that, they've had in a long time. And I think these guys will quit. I mean, it's one that I think that we handle them up front. We wear them down, and then, that they end up quitting at some point. that's where I'm at for today.
Richard, you were recruited by Jimbo Fisher. You had a long relationship with Jimbo Fisher. You know him very well. What, in your opinion, has gone wrong with this team?
You know, I told it to you the other day. I think this is a prime example of you can't buy a recruiting class. It has messed up the chemistry of that team. And, you know, you're seeing the guys that are being suspended right now. A lot of them are these freshmen, these five-star guys that were recruited. And it to me, they brought all these guys in, and it necessarily wasn't about team chemistry, who was a fit, who's going to be the right guy here. It was who's got the highest ranking. And the team they have right now is just, it's not a solid base. And there's a lot of guys, a lot of individual players out there, and they just seem to be falling apart.
We've heard a lot of, I don't want to say speculation, just theory that Jimbo Fisher's offense is antiquated, that what he is doing now is just not adaptable to modern college football. You played in Jimbo Fisher's offense. You know what he runs, and you had a lot of success with it. In your opinion, is this an antiquated offense, or is it just is it something else?
I think it's really something else. Is it a little bit old school? Yeah. But I think that, you know, this is the worst offensive line I've had in a while. They've always, you know, A&M's had strong offensive line. He doesn't have that good quarterback play going on right now. And that's one thing he has to have. I mean, the style of offense he has to have great protection and a smart quarterback. And there's just two pieces that for some reason he hasn't been able to put together and get the right pieces there.
Give me an example of the demands that Fisher puts on his quarterback, because we hear that a lot, that you want to keep it simple for a quarterback, but that Jimbo Fisher's system requires a little bit more. Give me an example of what that means.
So, you know, Jimbo's offense was always called with 2 plays and a check. So, you know, you really had 3 plays you could run. If you had a run play, it'd be 35 zone bubble. I mean, that means that you have the run play, but if the bubble's open, hit the bubble. But if you don't see, you got 2 high or you got a single high, you want to change it back to a run, then you can go red and check to the 3rd play. So you got to have a guy who's very comfortable in making decisions and seeing the right read and getting his guys in the right spot.
How long does it take a quarterback to get that, to get all that going? Because, and I'm going to use Jamarcus Russell because you played with Jamarcus, and Jamarcus in 2005 and 2006 was great. In 2006, he was phenomenal. In 2004, not so much. It was a back and forth with him and Marcus Randall, kind of shared time, and at times Jamarcus looked really good, and at other times not. So you tell me how long it takes a quarterback to mature in this offense.
There's no doubt that you look at the quarterbacks who had a lot of success in his offense were typically older guys. It's an offense that, you know, today everybody wants to play the freshman 5-star quarterback, and that style of offense, you just can't do it. I think that those guys really shine in their 3rd year of really feeling comfortable in making every decision that's available.
So when Jimbo has a quarterback it's not like he's never had to play young quarterbacks before. When he does that, does he do anything to scale it back, make it easier, or is it, hey, this is my offense, you got to learn how to run it?
He probably starts calling solid plays where he doesn't give them options to check out of, but then that makes problems where he can have to do all the communication and checking on the sideline himself. So, you know, it takes longer into the play clock when Jimbo's having to make all the decisions for the quarterback.
And if Jimbo's making the decisions for the quarterback, how much harder does it make on the rest of the team? The rest of the offense is out there. You're waiting for the quarterback to make a call, and the call's still got to come in from the sideline. Does it make it harder on you?
It's definitely, you got to get set up early because everybody is checking over the sideline, looking at the calls, getting the reads. You have to have more time on the play clock. If you get in a situation where they're starting to check down with 10 seconds left, it can cause a lot of problems for everybody.
All right, Jaden Daniels and the group going to try and get it done at Texas A&M tonight. Rich, kick back here for a little bit, and I'll see you for post game following LSU and Texas A&M.
No doubt. I'm about to stop by a little kid's birthday party for a minute, and then I'm going to head your way to watch the game.
All right. We'll see you there. Thanks a lot.
All right, man.
Richard Dixon, former LSU tight end, will be with me on the post game tonight. Presented by LouisianaCharterFishing.com. The Catch and Cook fishing experience is coming to an end today, the last day of the regular season. Grand prize winner will be randomly selected and notified. The grand prize winner enjoys lodging in a charter fishing trip for themselves and a friend, along with special guest Chef Jay Ducote. Crew will enjoy a fun day on the water and go catching with one of Louisiana's best captains after fishing. The grand prize winner and their guests will head back to the camp with Chef Jay for an unforgettable cookout and dinner for all. Once-in-a-lifetime opportunity if you love fishing, food, and fun. All you have to do to enter is go to gocatch.com and complete the registration form. That's GEAUX catch.com. You've still got time today to get in before we announce our grand prize winner. 5 runners-up will also be selected to win a Louisiana LouisianaCharterFishing.com. Prize pack valued at $100. LouisianaCharterFishing.com. Well, it was fun early for Auburn, but that has come to a halt. Alabama now leads it 21-7. Because I want to be captain positive today, I'll just say that it makes LSU's win over Alabama stand up a little bit more.
It does. Right? That's true.
Yeah, but at any rate, we'll get you up to date on everything that's going on before we get out of here one more time. When we return, we'll go to College Station. The voice of the Tigers, Chris Blair, is with us when we return from Rouse's corner of Burbank and Lee. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
I am Juliet, daughter of Marguerite, granddaughter of Gabriel Piera. I come from a line of strong women who knew struggle and success too. Still, I was scared by my breast cancer diagnosis, but I had Blue Cross coverage, which meant I got care from top doctors. I'm strong like my mother, and her mother before her. The right card, the right care.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Inside the stadium. Inside the stadium. Presented by GoFlow IV Spa. GoFlow IV Spa, where athletes come to hydrate so they can dominate.
Our LeBear's countdown to kickoff is 2 hours and 24 minutes before LSU starts off here against Texas A&M. We go now to College Station, the voice of the Tigers, Chris Blair. And Chris, I think the question on everybody's mind is, if you're flying from Grand Cayman to College Station, do you have to go through Atlanta?
No, actually, we got lucky. We actually were able to get to New Orleans and then get over to Baton Rouge and then get over to College Station. So, no, did not have to see Atlanta going there or coming back.
You'll be there soon enough. Okay, I'll get to the football game in a second, but for those of us that have only seen the clip now, the highlight or whatever, what in the name of James Naismith happened at the end of LSU and Kansas State the other night?
I got to tell you, Charlie, I've told a few people the last couple of days, it was a foreshadowing moment in the Akron game with LSU. It's a high school gym. It's the most generic scoreboard you've ever seen. It's got score, it's got the time, and it's got fouls. That's it. Just a giant square scoreboard. The box that controlled it looked like it came out of 1975. And against the Akron Zips, there was a moment where I think midway through the first half they wanted to put some time on the clock. And it took about 2 minutes for them to figure out how to get the time back where they wanted. So to say there was a little confusion with the equipment by those working it is an understatement. But at the end of the game, the ball was put into Jalen Reed. Did not start until Jalen had dribbled it twice down the floor. Unfortunately, you had some officials, some of the top-rated officials in college basketball that have a number of Final Fours under their belt. None of the three were watching the clock to see if it started. They didn't realize it until the game was over. Kansas State's head coach was obviously upset that the basket had gone in. They then go back, look at the replay on a laptop, mind you, from a screen telecast, and then basically took a stopwatch and said, nope, that took 5.1 seconds before the shot was put up. There was only 4.7 on the clock, therefore didn't get it done, game over. Weird way to lose a game. It's a shame nobody was really paying attention to the clock, because in any other situation, the ball gets put in play in the first half or any other time in the game, and the clock doesn't start. They immediately blow the whistle and reset it. This time, none of the three officials were watching the clock. They had no idea.
I got to compliment Matt McMahon on not completely losing his mind. I would have. What did the coach have to say after the game about how all this unfolded?
Yeah, he was upset, but he really handled it himself well. To say that there's coaches out there and coaches in the past that may still be behind bars down in Cayman right now, if that had happened. But, he basically said, hey, our guys, they're watching the clock. So as soon as Hannibal picked up the ball, I saw it. He was right in front of me. He looked at the clock, saw he had plenty of time. Had the clock been accurate, he probably would have heaved one from three-point land, or at best, the free throw. So he felt, that was bad. But, coaches being coaches, Charlie, he basically said there were, 14 turnovers in the second half when we had an 8-point lead at the break. There were things we could have done to not be in that situation.
All right, let's get to the football game tonight in College Station. Tell me about what Brian Kelly's approach to this game. I know you talked with him during the week. There's a lot on his plate. We're talking about between the last game and the championship game, National Signing Day, the transfer portal opens up a week from Monday. Man, that's a lot to talk about. But first, it's got to be Texas A&M, and just kind of talk about his approach here.
Yeah, Charlie, it's been impressive to watch. That's really been all that's been talked about in every opportunity. It's about nothing else on the outside matters right now except defeating Texas A&M at their home field when it will be their biggest game of the year. That's an understatement. And it also is their bowl game. Let's face it, if they lose this game, it'll be the worst season since 2008. And so they're going to put everything they have into it. All indications are A-Chain was practicing last week, was held out against UMass, shocker there. So they're expecting to get one of their big playmakers back tonight. We'll wait and see. So Coach Kelly's approach has been, it's about right now. Have to be intentional about the moment at hand, not next week in Atlanta, not down the road, whatever happens in the next couple of weeks. It's all about taking care of business against Texas A&M. And, he's really talked at length about the playmakers they do have. And a lot of the guys who have had to make plays this year, Charlie, as you well know, are freshmen, true freshmen, and they really have a solid sophomore class. So their whole motive, and you've heard them in the media this week, the Aggies talking, they just want to wreck LSU season. If they do that, I know it'll be a losing year on the record, but they'll feel like it was a victory.
Oh, yeah, we've seen them make cups and shirts and all kinds of things before. I'm not sure exactly when you guys got to College Station, but I'm just wondering if you got a feel for, the atmosphere there, because this has been a disaster. I can't come up with a better word than that for what this season was supposed to be for A&M, ranked 6th in the country, and what it ended up being for A&M before it comes to an end tonight. So I'm just wondering if you got a feel for the vibe, because I can't imagine it's very good.
I'll sum it up this way. It's one of the first times I've ever come to Bryan College Station in all three sports, baseball, basketball, and football. I go downstairs in the hotel lobby, which there's tons of Texas A&M people staying there, and an older fellow comes by me and says, take it easy on us, Mark. It's been a hard year. Now, I've never had anybody, regardless of what's going on in any of the three programs, kind of admit that kind of, ho-hum attitude. Now, that's not to say they won't be fired up. We all know that last night they got out and yelled, including Hunt, by the way, which was funny. I laughed out loud in my hotel room.
I did too.
But, again, they'll be fired up. But, yeah, there's no way around it that a lot of them don't admit this has been one of the most disappointing years based on expectations, based on preseason hype. I think they're just ready to close the book and head to 2023 and hope things get better.
All right, so speaking of Hunt Palmer, the comedian, sportscaster turned comedian.
Hunt the good egg.
Yeah. What's coming up on pregame?
Yeah, well, those guys are going to be just two of them, Marlon Favorite and Hunt Palmer today. Brandon Taylor, of course, spends a lot of time over here in this part of Texas. He's actually going to be on hand at the stadium. So they'll just get us ready for kickoff. And I'm sure Hunt, he's probably got all the yelling out by now. But I'd say he's got another Texas A&M rant left in him. That's probably what we'll hear.
Chris, have a good call and a safe trip back. We'll see you next week in Atlanta.
All right, guys. Thanks.
If you don't know what Chris is referencing there, Hunt did a what do you want to call it on Matt's show yesterday?
Yeah, he did a tribute, if you will, to Texas A&M yell practice.
Tribute's a bit much.
No, it's what it was.
Tribute's a bit misleading.
He had the hand motions and
parody.
The whoop. And, yes, parody's a great. It was fantastic.
It was funny. It was really funny. If you don't know Hunt Palmer, if you haven't listened to the show, he has a particular distaste of Texas. Just think about how I feel about Alabama.
Yeah,
okay?
It's a great.
It's a lot of comparisons there. And Hunt did a parody of yell practice, and Matt posted on Twitter. I think Hunt posted it on Twitter. If you are,
channel as well,
if you're an LSU fan, and if you have a particular dislike of Texas A&M, it's 4 minutes well spent. Yes. You will laugh. If you don't laugh, you're an Aggie fan. If you don't laugh, if you're an LSU fan, you will laugh at multiple parts because it was really, really good.
I was near tears in studio.
No,
it was awesome.
It was fan. I didn't see it till this morning, but somebody sent it to me, and that's just perfect. He nailed it. We'll take a break. We'll come back, get you caught up. Auburn creeping back in against Alabama. We'll get you up to date on all of the scores when we come back here at Rouse's. Download the mobile app for your curbside delivery. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Enter now for a chance to win a catch and cook fishing experience from the Louisiana Charter Boat Association with me, Chef Jay Ducote, winner of Beat Bobby Flay. Register now at gocatch.com. That's GEAUX catch.com.
When I was a boy, I spent my days climbing trees, catching fish. Barefoot in the river I walked, listening to crickets, counting stars. This was home. After my stroke, I wondered if I'd make it back to the people and places I love. But I got the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Your card matters. Your home does too.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it.
98.1. The dependable storage college football scoreboard. Dependable storage. Let us store your stuff. DependableStorage.com.
All right, we'll start with games in progress. TCU serious, y'all. Number 4, Horned Frogs lead Iowa State 24-0 in the first quarter. Max Dugan's thrown a touchdown pass. TCU's got a pick 6. They are cruising on their way to the Big 12 championship game and a potential spot in the playoff. In Tuscaloosa, Auburn has scored to cut the lead to 21-14. Robbie Ashford's got a touchdown run for Auburn. Bryce Young's got a touchdown pass for Alabama. Akron leads Northern Illinois 44-12. These are fourth quarter scores. North Texas leads Rice 21-17. Halftime score, Kentucky leads number 25 Louisville 13-7. Malik Cunningham is playing sort of. Looks like he's kind of playing part-time in this game. Number 21 Oregon State leads number 9 Oregon 10-7 about halfway through the second quarter. Illinois leads Northwestern 10-0 also in the second quarter. Minnesota leads Wisconsin 7-6. Halftime for the Old Oak and Bucket, Indiana leads Purdue 7-3. Purdue needs a win to get to the Big Ten championship game. Otherwise, it's a mess. Duke and Wake Forest are tied at 17. That game is about a minute and a half to go to halftime. Also late in the second quarter, San Jose State leads Hawaii 7-6. Memphis leads SMU 14-7. Troy leads Arkansas State 7-6. UAB leads Louisiana Tech 14-3. UTEP leads UTSA 24-6. Those are all second quarter scores. First quarter scores, number 11 Penn State leads Michigan State 7-0. Utah, ranked 14th, leads Colorado 14-0. Here are your earlier finals from college football. Number 3 Michigan looked like a rout. Really wasn't. It was a much more competitive game than the score indicated, but Michigan really asserted themselves in the fourth quarter and blew by Ohio State 45-23. J.J. McCarthy threw 3 touchdown passes and ran for 1. Michigan 252 yards for an average of 7.2 yards per carry on the ground. Number 1 Georgia had their problems in the first half, but they beat Georgia Tech, pulling away 37-14. It was only 10-7 at the break. South Carolina, very impressive. Off the win against Tennessee, they go in and upset number 8 Clemson, ending the Tigers' hopes of getting into the college football playoff. South Carolina wins it 31-30. Spencer Rattler off of the game from a week ago, way through 6 touchdown passes. Did throw 2 interceptions, but also threw for 360 yards and 2 touchdowns. West Virginia beat Oklahoma State 24-19. It was Army over UMass 44-7. New Mexico State beat Liberty 49-14. Hugh Freeze on his way to Auburn. Maryland beat Rutgers 37-0. James Madison pounded Coastal Carolina 47-7. It was South Alabama over Old Dominion 27-20. Marshall beat Georgia State 28-23. Western Kentucky over Florida Atlantic 32-31 in overtime. East Carolina beat Temple 49-46. And also in overtime, Kent State beat Buffalo 30-27, and that is your college football scoreboard. Oregon State down on the 11-yard line against Oregon. They lead it 10-7, and it's about 5.5 minutes to go in the first half. We'll take a break, come back and wrap things up here from Rouse's corner of Burbank and Lee. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7, The Tiger.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
I am Juliette, daughter of Marguerite, granddaughter of Gabriel Piera. I come from a line of strong women, women who knew struggle and success too. Still, I was scared by my breast cancer diagnosis, but I had Blue Cross coverage, which meant I got care from top doctors. I'm strong like my mother, and her mother before her. The right card, the right care.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my
98.1.
Get a free roof inspection by Garcia Roofing. GarciaDidMyRoof.com.
WDGL and HD1 Baton Rouge.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day winding down here at Rouse's. This is our final show here at Rouse's for the regular season. And because the bowl system is pretty unpredictable, this may be our last show for the year here. So I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to Rouse's and the entire staff here who've been tremendous hosts for us the entire season. There's no better place in Baton Rouge, especially if you're headed towards campus, to stop by and stock up than Rouse's, whether it be for tailgating, for your family gatherings at home, certainly for the holiday season, between your meats and your produce, your wines, your spirits, your beer. Never run out of ice. That's big for the season. We even got a beer tap here that you can have a draft beer while you shop. We're here next to the Mongolian Grill and the Chef's Collection, the Chop House. Hot meals here, the hot bar every day. You can come in, and I don't live terribly far from here. I can tell you that I've done that on more than one occasion. Tremendous bakery, prepared food here as well. There's just really nothing that you can't get here at Rouse's. Our setup here in the dining area has been wonderful. We had a lot of people stop by over the course of the year. So thank you to Rouse's. It has been a wonderful experience for us to be here. And if the bowl game, if it's the playoffs, we may be on location.
Yeah.
So we don't know if we'll be back or not, but we'll see. But again, thanks to the folks here at Rouse's for being our hosts all through this regular season. Musso, final thoughts on LSU and Texas A&M.
I think Tigers just have to go out and play their game, Hanny. I mean, you do that, I think they can win. They are the better football team, and Texas A&M is not a good football team. through 11 games, you are what your record says you are. Their record says they're 4-7. And they've found ways to lose. So I'm not going to say they're not going to come out and play hard early in the game. I expect that from Texas A&M. But I think LSU can outlast them and ultimately win maybe by 2 scores in this football game.
We've had, it seems like, more games in this series of late where there was some kind of coaching controversy than the other way around. I can tell you that I am pleased that this time it is on the other side.
Absolutely.
And not with LSU. But I certainly expect it to be a talking point for the broadcast crew tonight. It's an elephant in the room that you can't ignore, and it's something very much that I would imagine has been the talk of the A&M campus. And if something, if it is inside that locker room, what are they going to do to change it? Because they're certainly not going to go back into next year status quo. So whether it be the players in the transfer portal, in or out, coaches on the staff, or Jimbo Fisher himself, tonight is sort of a what do you call it? The turning of the page for Texas A&M. Win or lose tonight, A&M will be happy to put this season behind them. For LSU, it's try to stay sharp. They were sharp a week ago. Get a good performance. Get in there. Get some offensive momentum early, and get yourself ready to go to Atlanta next week to play the Georgia Bulldogs. Thanks to everybody for participating. For Matt Musso, I'm Charles Hanagriff saying thank you and good afternoon from Rouse's. Stay tuned for the network pregame on the LSU Sports Radio Network. This has been Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
The following is an exclusive presentation of the LSU Sports Radio Network.